Friday night. Time for crafts and pure delight. Paper, scissors, let's get started. With vintage tape, we'll be wholehearted. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layer in circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. Glue sticks ready, let's make a plan. Planners in the office, supplies in hand. Honey half-season, whimsy arrows, crafting magic like true heroes. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layer in circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. Doodads and gumballs, let's create a scene. Join the club where we live our dreams. So grab your scissors and come along. Together we'll craft and sing our song. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layer in circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. It's all for you. Slip into jammies, grab something to sip. Stickers and golden scissors, let's take a crafty trip. The playbook's open with listers, got a list. In this crafty paradise, our dreams coexist. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layer in circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. It's all for you. Cards and pockets display our creativity. 32-pound paper, so smooth and buttery. Scraps your cards, help your ideas flow. What will you make during the late night crafty show? Hearts and pockets display our creativity. 32-pound paper, so smooth and buttery. Scraps your cards, help your ideas flow. What will you make during the late night crafty show? It's all for you. It's all for you.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. Happy trick-or-treat night. I am so happy to see all your little faces in the chat room. Welcome to the back of my RV. Welcome to my little craft space. And welcome to the Late Night Crafty Club. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know where that little cough came from. Oh my goodness. I have so many little friends here. So if some of you are wondering, I noticed, oh, hang on a second. I noticed you guys all have your regular, some of your regular names are back. Am I imagining that?
Is still there,
So like last time we met, I had the hardest time being able to say hi to some of you because YouTube had changed so many names for some reason. They added numbers to names. It's like they were pulling in different different, like, I guess a handle versus a channel name versus a email name. I don't know exactly what was going on, but it looks like some of you are back to what I recognize. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna have an easier time tonight. But I'm so happy to be here. It's raining in the lovely Pacific Northwest. At least it is here on the property. I wish, I don't know, Mark, are you able to show the squirrel cam? So like, look, leaves on the ground. Behold, it is fall. It is fall. There's leaves on the ground here. So I just saw literally a squirrel just run by. It was literally the squirrel cam. I just wasn't able to, get you guys to see him right away. So if I could get the camera out that way, you could see the peach tree is gloriously peach, like it has turned the color of peaches. All the leaves have turned peach. So it is so wonderful. This little suburban kid who didn't grow up with like groves of fruit trees around, it has been absolutely remarkable looking at all the trees do their thing. So some trees don't turn colors, some trees do, and it's just so fun to see them, go through the stages. And I've taken photos from the time we got here of them, going through their little costume changes. So fall is the last of the season that I didn't get to see. Excellent. My Amazon Prime delivery just landed. I can see him leaving the property right now. And so now it is complete because we arrived here in the winter. So now I've seen it all. Actually, I think we arrived at the very tail of fall, but when we got here, all the leaves were gone. Everything was bare. So this has been very exciting. It has been really fun seeing nature go through all the cycles and the trees turn. The trees really are, I think, the most clear example of like the seasons are changing. And I don't know about you, other Gen Xers out there, but I cannot help but hear the song from Charlotte's Web in my head when I think about Mother Nature and the seasons turning and her singing. And I think the song is her singing to Wilbur when Wilbur was having trouble sleeping, and she was singing that song about Mother Nature. She turns the seasons around, and so she changes her gown. Oh, Leisai, I loved that song so much as a child. But anyway, that song has gone through my head so many times through the last year. Just pops up into my head again. So I need to know, this is not a night for checking what you're sipping. It is a night of checking what you're snacking on. I brought my candy bowl to the live stream. I asked you guys to bring your candy because it's trick-or-treat night. Maybe you're the only one doing some trick-or-treating. Free candy. Wasn't free, of course. We all had to buy our own candy probably. Unless you were brave enough to go next door. Those of you who have a nearby neighbor and willing to go trick-or-treat and get your free candy. Although I'm sure that would make for really awkward conversations with your neighbor in the future. But I'm not judging if you were willing to do that. I would not judge you. So, but anyway, I'm super giddy. I'm super happy that you're here. I have a lot of stuff here on my desk to chat about. We're gonna craft. I should be crafting. I hopefully will be crafting with you. And it is the last night of October. October is over. I'm looking for. I feel like I can't look at my. I can't look at a screen without my mouse in my hand. Like I want to scroll up on the screen to look at the chat, but that's not how this works. I have to grab my iPad, this here, to scroll up, to talk to you, to say hello before this chat room really gets away from me. So I see people telling me what they have, what they've brought, because it can be fancy. This is a night you can bring bougie candy if you want to. You don't have to be buying the cheap stuff. Bring the good stuff if you can, if you have it in the house. I didn't tell you that, it had to be the grocery store stuff. You can treat yourself. So first one here is Miss Bethany. And she said she's getting hordes of children at her house. So it's really interesting, the whole Halloween. It's like in some areas, parts of the country, Halloween is dying. Like there's some people who just don't. My mom said last year she didn't get a single trick-or-treater, and so she's not sure if she'll get one this year, which is so sad. I think that's sad. Little kids aren't going out to go trick-or-treating. Okay, hello, Miss Lee. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Miss Amy. Amy the Great. You know, Amy, it just popped into my head. You know, Ramona Quimby, Ramona the Great. That was one of Beverly Cleary's books. Ramona. Hello, Miss Sherry. Hi, Miss Laura. Hi, Christy. Hi, Lorelei. Hello, Miss Ellen. Hi, Heather. Hello, Chris. Hello. I only have part of your name, so I have Mar, which I don't think that's your name. Margiven. Until you correct me, I'm not sure I can't think of what your name actually is, and it's probably someone I'm guessing it's probably somebody I know. That's what I'm guessing, but you're gonna have to give me more than that. I'm so sorry. I can't think of a name to connect that with. It's possible that you've gotten one of those shortened YouTube names. Let me see. Did I get an answer in the? I don't see one yet. Okay. Thank you, Margie. We'll just call you Margiven as your super secret YouTube name. Okay, Margie. Thank you so much for for giving me the secret handshake there. Okay. See, I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Hi, Robin. Hello to Stephanie Sawmiller. Hi, Pearl Ann. Hi, Kelly Smets over there in Belgium. We're so happy that you're here. Kelly, do they go trick-or-treating in Belgium? Did you have little trick-or-treaters come to your door? I know I know that people do that. They do it in other parts of the world. I was just curious if you see that over there. Let's see. Hello, Miss Janice. I guess you guys are watching baseball, you and Chris. It's so wild to think that on Halloween night, some of you are watching baseball games. That seems weird. Is that normal? Is that how? That's not how it used to be, right? Didn't baseball used to end at the end of the summer, the beginning of fall, and then football starts, right? Did something shift in the world? Because I'm not really a sports person. So I just don't remember that. It seemed to me like sports used to know their place. Baseball ended, football began. And now we have this crazy crossover. Let's see. Hi, Miss Edie. Hello to Miss Jennifer Gober. Aloha Mahea. Hello, Miss Shelley. Hello, Miss Creative Christian. Hi, Ray. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Miss Mandy. Let's see. Hi, Darlis. Hi, Michelle Kingsley down under. Hello, Miss Sherry Davis, eating glitter. Margie wants to know how everybody is able to chat and craft at the same time. This is a serious question. Hi, Denise. Hello. Hello, my cousin. I see you're using your little picture, your little face. Let me see here. Keep going through here. Hi, Sharon Sullivan. Good to see you. Hi, Michelle Massey. See, your name even looks different from last time I saw you. So interesting. Kelly says that she has Belgian chocolate. So Kelly, when you being in Belgium, do you guys just say I have chocolate? Do you have to like separate that is all your chocolate Belgium? And I'm not being smart aleck. I am curious. There is no other variants. Mark and I were having a discussion about chocolate yet last night. We were talking about that both of us are dark chocolate people. I think in general people fall into a milk chocolate and dark chocolate camp. And we were talking about how it is interesting that as kids, I don't really remember there being a distinction. Like I don't remember having like this dark chocolate thing. But then I realized I had to think about it. And I'm like, but you know what? There wasn't really a lot of candy brands out there that just offered dark chocolate. So then we started thinking about it, and Hershey's Dark was the first that he and I could remember that you could eat just a piece of dark chocolate. Now, today, I would never just eat Hershey's Dark because I don't think it's the best chocolate. If you're going to eat chocolate, if you're going to do that, I would pick something else. So I told him what I can remember is Dove chocolate being the first like good dark chocolate that was like, you know, mass market type of chocolate you could buy. And when we were talking about it, we both agreed that our favorite chocolate candy as kids was Mounds. And I pointed out to him the reason why I loved it so much was because it was made with dark chocolate. And then it turns out, he looked it up, Mounds candy bars were actually one of the very first candy bars. If you go look it up, it's like, it has the history of it is like the very early 1900s, somewhere in there. And it's it's like the very first dark chocolate candy product that was created. One of them. So that is, I mean, I would prefer it over Almond Joy any day because of its dark chocolate. So when I think about like what was my favorite candy in my trick or treat bag, that was it. That was it. And I've always loved that. And Mark says, he gave me a little quote here. All right. So Kelly has updated me. This just in. So Kelly, who is from Belgium, she lives in Belgium. She says, yes, we only say chocolate because everyone there knows that they're Belgium and they know it's Belgium chocolate. And unless it's not from Belgium, then we would call it fake chocolate. Thank you for giving us that pity. It's the pity chocolate, the kind of chocolate Americans eat. Yes, Kelly, I'm sure if you tried Hershey's dark chocolate, you would probably spit it out. You probably wouldn't even bother to eat it. It's just not, it's not okay. It's not okay. But back then, it was really the only dark chocolate you could really eat. So let me know in the comments if you are a dark chocolate person or a milk chocolate. Let me know. Let's duke it out. Dark chocolate, milk chocolate, because I really feel like if you're really a dark chocolate person, you're really not a milk chocolate person. Or is it the other way around? Will I eat milk chocolate? I guess I would, but I feel like milk chocolate people really don't like dark chocolate. So you weirdos that don't like dark chocolate, show yourselves. And I say that with love. Okay, so let me see here. Did I finish up saying hello? Because I probably didn't. Hopefully I didn't lose my... Okay. Hi, Sean. I see your little face, Miss Riptide. It's good to see you. It's been a while since I've seen your little face. Hi, Nancy. It's good to see you. Hi, Diana Clark. Good to see you. Hi, Susan Lloyd. Hi, Marie Louise. Happy to see you. Hi, Melanie Langworthy. Did I miss somebody? Oh, I see someone saying hi to Justine, but hi, Justine. Aussie Down Under girl. Good to see you. Now I've seen 2 Aussie girls. Maybe, hopefully I didn't miss anybody else. Hi, Miss Julie. The Velvet Philo. Okay, so my dark chocolate girls are weighing in here, I see. Lorelei, dark chocolate. Chris, we can still be friends. Okay, dark. Mandy says, I like dark chocolate if it's with something like nuts. Agreed. Now, I don't like just dark chocolate, just the dark chocolate. I like stuff in it because I don't eat chocolate very often because obviously as a diabetic, I shouldn't be doing that. So I will be very particular about it. And in general, I like something in it. But like I said, it is very rare. This is a very rare thing. I don't plan on eating all this candy either, by the way. It's really for theatrical effect. And by the way, I did try one of these. Have you guys had one of these lately? There's the weirdest chemical taste in these. Maybe I haven't had one of these in a long time and I have forgotten. But I got Snickers in honor of my parents because this is the candy that they always took from our bags. I got this in honor of my daddy. He loved Snickers so much, but my parents both were Snickers people, and that was the one they always wanted. So I rarely got Snickers, and I rarely got to keep my Snickers. They were always fishing the Snickers out of my treat bag. And I was that kid that made my candy last as long as possible. I was like mouse bite girl. I would like nibble on it and make it last. Okay, so yeah, Ellen says, I was about to say Hershey's Dark. It's the only one I can recall. Yeah, I think we just had that stuff for a really long time before we got the good stuff. And that's not to say like, I know there was like C's candy and you know, like the nice like stores. There's another store too. It's not just C's. There's another one. My aunt loved going to this store. She always got her candy there. Was it Ethel? I forget the name of it. It was a woman's name. I can't think of what it is. So like those type of retail stores where you could go in and have like a box made and all that. I'm not talking about those. I know that they existed. This is like, you know, the just packaged cheapy stuff. I feel like that we had to wait a long time for like a decent, and it was Dove chocolate that saved the day. Those little Dove chocolates were wonderful. And they were really clever because they put little quotes in their packaging, like inside the wrapper. So it kind of made it like a little experience. Darla says that she likes dark chocolate, but she will lower herself to eating milk. She didn't say that part. I added it. Hi, Mary Maples. She says dark chocolate only. I agree, Mary. I wouldn't. I'm just saying, unless like, I think like a Snickers, I think that would be an exception. I mean, I haven't had a Snickers bar in years and years. I'm going to end up taking a lot of this stuff up to the family house, up to my in-laws for the family to enjoy. I just wanted to bring it to the late night crafty club. So I got all this candy just to be like, hey, it's trick or treat night. It's a prop. Yay. Okay. Margie figured out how to change her YouTube name. Thank you, Margie. I wish I could say your name, but there's really no vowels in the beginning. CLBLEA. I'm so sorry about having cancer. I'm sorry to hear that. And you learned that dark chocolate has the good stuff in it that, polyphenols is good for cancer. That is something that I have heard about dark chocolate. Actually, different people have actually recommended eating dark chocolate because it does actually have benefits. The cacao in it. Katrina, thank you very much. Katrina. Let me make a note of that. Should you speak again, I don't want to forget. Let me get a pen. Boy, I have a shocking lack of pens on my desk. Okay, so I have a Katrina, like Katrina Van Tassel. Okay, so, and then I said, hi, Shelly. And then Margie, you got your name fixed. And hi, Miss Doreen. I'm going to make a note because just in case I forget that. But luckily your picture gives you away. And then hi, Ruth. Miss Ruth Mason. Good to see your little face. Hi, Miss Justine White. Parent tax, Melanie calls it for the Snickers. This is the parent tax. That's a good way of looking at it. Doreen says we threw out the milk duds from our batch of chocolate, some nasty, yucky taste. So interesting. Yes. there is a weird, gross taste. Like I took a bite and I was like, ooh, that's not good. Okay. So Sherry says junior mints have dark chocolate. They do, but you know what's weird? Does it feel like chocolate to you? Do they seem like chocolate? They feel like a weird substance. I could be wrong, but they don't feel like they feel like a coating. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe I should test all of these things. maybe my memory fails me. Okay, so they are delicious though. Regardless, they are delicious, and so are the peppermint patties. They're refreshing. Shelly says that she loves these candies. Yes. CK Myers, hi, hello. If you want to change your name, you can, and then I will know if anyone wants to update your name, because I don't remember. Some of these are so different from what you usually are. To change your name, click on your profile picture, click YouTube Studio, click customization. There's a line there to change your username. Thanks, Margie. Okay, so Cindy. Thank you. Thanks, Cindy. Cindy Myers. Okay. All right, my friends. Let's get going. Okay. We said our hellos. Okay. So I just want to give you a quick heads up. There are our fall treats collection in the store, theresetgirl.com. The fall treats, most of the fall treats, the majority of that whole collection is 40% off if you use the coupon fall treats, all caps, all one word, fall treats. So if you go to our website, theresetgirl.com, there is a collection called Fall Treats. And this comprises quite a lot of products. There's like 20 products in that collection, including there's a Lister's Got a List book, and we updated it so that I took off the date off of it. There's a fall planner. We took the dates off of it too, so they're both undated now, so that you can just use them. So they're undated. So those were updated. Those are available. You guys remember, that's when I introduced the little fall scrapture cards. So this little collection, this is included. These are really fun. So these are in there, 40% off. So there's a whole bunch of goodies in there. All the fall things from past collections, all that. 40% off. Fall treats. All one word, all caps. Okay, so the next thing is we restocked and opened up the sticker truck. So the sticker truck is our physical sticker shop. Mark did some house cleaning, so it's got a different set of inventory. And I just wanted to point out some stickers. These are my faves. These are stickers I think would be excellent for commonplace work. I have my little set here for using. These are, I think, pretty much like the very last set of stickers that he introduced. I think we introduced last year when the scrapture cards I brought them to life. So can we do a little top down camera really quick? So these ones are that you stamped, your like doing stamps, but they're actually stickers. They're on clear stock, which are a lot of fun. I love these type of stickers because it's like stamping with none of the mess. So they are done on the clear stock like that. So there's these. This one is the back in the day stamps. And then these ones are called secretary stamps, and these just look like they're really fun little assortment of like fun officey kind of vintage stamps. And then these are the honey halfsies. So we have stamps like this. These are like these were hand drawn for us based on our actual honeys. And then the mini hexies, Mark gathered up these and he formatted these for me. These are like the little mini hexies and then the little mini diamonds. So these are wonderful. I love these. Are totally the things I love designing with. So these are some that I really love. The small size makes these really great for doing like little small scale little index cards if you want to do card sized quotes for your commonplace or just cards in general if you want to do like smaller scale things. That's what I think makes these really great because of the size of them is so small. They're also great for accent pieces, you know, if you're working on a bigger sheet. So they are in the sticker truck. And I also want to point out that if you are subscribed to the Late Night Crafty Club newsletter, the Clip and Snip, this was a fun freebie that I sent out to you. So if you didn't check your inbox, this is waiting for you. I curated a bunch of quotes for my Commonplace. And this was a sheet. I formatted it for you as well. So this text is quite small, so you may not want to just like cut it and paste it in yours. What my intention is that you would copy it out in your own handwriting. So that's what this was. I just went ahead and just printed it all out so that I could copy it in my own writing. But I thought some of these were just absolutely lovely. This one here is one of my very all-time favorite quotes of all time. I didn't actually even know the title of this. I learned this poem. It was like, I can't remember the author's name, but he used it as like an intro. Like, you know how sometimes an author will quote another author as an intro to his book. So that's what it was. And there was no title on it. And I never knew that there was one. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. So there's Jane Austen quotes in here. There's Charlotte Bronte, Emily Dickinson, Christina Rossetti, John Keats, Emily Dickinson. So there's, did I ever say her? So anyway, there's a variety of quotes in here. So this was your little freebie if you're on the LNCC newsletter. And then if you are subscribed to my main newsletter, I sent this out the last LNCC. This went out. Is that when it went out? I'm trying to think. When did that go out? I think it did. So I had this in my hand the last time we met here. So I believe that is true. So this went out mid-October. If you are subscribed, please check your inbox because you should have this if you missed it. Another way of grabbing it is if you try and resubscribe, I think it may trigger it to have you get it sent to you in a confirmation email. Try that out. See if that works. So, Robin, try again. If you were already subscribed to my newsletter, you should have gotten it in the first place though. So you could go to your inbox and type in the Reset Girl and see, because just 2 weeks ago, this would have been the last email I sent out. When we sent out the confirmation, how am I trying to say this? So when it was set up, this was actually hooked up to it. And so try again and it should be fine. Oftentimes when we have too many little irons in the fire at the same time, we have those delightful husband-wife miscommunications. They're delightful. Can you imagine how much fun you would have having your husband try to understand your directions? Yes, it's good times, good times. So anyway, there was possibly that. So, but anyway, if you have been on my newsletter list, you should have gotten it about 2 weeks ago when I originally sent them out. So I would try that first and then re-sign up. And I say that because the first newsletter I sent had lots of good stuff in it. So you wouldn't want to miss the original newsletter. That's all I got to say. So this is the kit, the play kit. If you are part of the membership, this was included in your fun, what do you call it? Your all access pass. So otherwise you can grab it in the store if you want to. It's not a have to. If you're a part of the membership, you also get some extra bonus fun weekly journal pages and a reading challenge and review sheet. So this is what we are working on this entire season. It's a Commonplace project, which is what I will be kind of working on in different ways on the Late Night Crafty Club, supporting that little initiative and using my little freebie sheet to kind of craft along with it. That is why I sent quotes out to use in that Commonplace project. So catching everybody up to speed. Here we go. So, all right. I was thinking how I would do some things. I wanted to, let me see. The coupon is good for, I think I said the coupon was good for the end of November, Miss Janice. So fall treats, the coupon is good till the end of November. So I wanted to mention to you that the collecting of ephemera, the collecting of goodies, as you're like kind of gathering stuff for your project. So there's two things I just wanted to share really quick. This is in regards to your Commonplace project. So one thing I had mentioned was about using Pinterest as a collecting tool. And I said that I believe I did this in the membership, was start a Pinterest board like yesterday. This should be one of the very first things you do. So I wanted to show that I indeed have a Pinterest board and how fast I already have 102 pins, and I think I have spent less than, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes tops collecting. It's so easy and quick. And what is wonderful about Pinterest is their algorithm is wonderful. It is so responsive to how you use Pinterest. So it's very much about, as soon as you start showing that you're like pinning and responding to something, it will very much start asking you, how about this? How about this? Do you like this? Do you like this? So once it starts noticing that you're really into certain types of quotes, not just quotes, certain types of quotes, it starts just serving them up to you. So it is really, really simple. Not to mention, they have recently changed their pinning mechanism, so it's even easier to pin. So I was noticing a trend with my pinning where I was pinning things about decluttering, which is going to be super helpful because I have a huge decluttering and moving project to do. I have to downsize 2 storage units and attempt to move into the cottage on this property to use as my little art studio. So it is going to be painful and difficult. So when I started noticing there were quotes on here about it, they were like so encouraging. I was like, if I just copied out some of these quotes and put them on, like make a vision board, like make a big foam core board, and I just had all these quotes on there. I know me. Stuff like that is very inspiring and very motivating. I've been like this since I was in high school. I just need some really great images of like beautiful spaces and have some great quotes. And it's very much something that keeps me, very motivated. So just that, noticing that little trend, I didn't really think about using the Commonplace project as a springboard for my decluttering, but it started making me realize like there's so many different types of quotes. It doesn't just have to be, pretty poetry or things of that nature. It could be very, very specific, maybe about a specific type of life goal you might have. you can get very niche-y about it. So I wanted to show you some of the things in here. And plus some of them were kind of funny. Can I show you? There's a little bit of a Gen X humor here on some of them. Like this one, the Hokey Pokey Clinic, a place to turn yourself around. I thought that was hilarious. So I thought, it would be kind of fun to have some that are funny that when I open up my Commonplace binder, my cards, whatever they are, it would just make something that would make me laugh. So there are lots and lots. It goes so quick how fast you will start collecting them. When the phone was tied with a wire, humans were free. I love this. It almost looks like it's in a museum. I think that's like a pedestal. It's probably in a store window. And I just felt that was so profound and something that like a lot of us can remember talking on a phone that was attached to the wall. A lot of us Gen X and boomers remember that that's how we spent like our teenage years, was talking on a phone that was attached to a wall. Like you couldn't move anywhere unless you had the little what is that cord? The little spiral cord that if it was long enough, you might be able to move it into another room. But for a lot of us, that's how it was. So I don't know. So there was things in here that I just thought was like, besides just being inspiring, there's other types of quotes that I thought they can speak to pain, like experiences you've had, things that you're healing. They can speak to goals that you have, maybe things that you're going through, like you want to, improve your health, lose weight, you want to change your career, or, maybe, and sometimes at our age, in the stage of life we're in, maybe changing career can be very, very scary. So quotes can be something it's almost like clinging to little cheerleaders, like they're like a little cheerleader, another little thought that's helping you, move to the next step. I absolutely love quotes. I'm very motivated by them. I repeat them to myself a lot. So anyway, this is, some of them are very classic. We have a William Shakespeare here, and then this right here. I loved that. That really made me think about for a second. I started thinking about like, what kind of warriors are there in the world? There's men who've been to battle, literally on the front lines. Can you imagine sitting with a bunch of veterans? My grandparents spent a lot of time at the VFW. This is where like all their friendships were. I can imagine like what those conversations look like. So I was just kind of going through my head what types of warriors there could be. People who were like first responders. People who work in nursing or in the medical field, people who work in a very heroic setting. So it just started making me contemplate. So this project, just in the collecting of wise words or inspiring words or motivating words, can have a very profound effect on you, can start, I think, becoming a springboard for helping you in other areas of your life, and that's what's kind of cool about the Commonplace project, is you're kind of bringing all of these quotes together and giving them a home to live in. But for some of them, in the process of the gathering, you can actually cull some of them and send them off into a different project for you to work with. I can't help but I always think about things like in October, I do tend to notice like my word of the year tends to find me. It tends to kind of make itself known that like, oh, that's going to be my word for the year in 2026. I start thinking about like, oh, I want to build a vision board. These are the goals that I have for the next year. They either start to like materialize in October going into November, and I start to get a little bit excited or giddy, things like that. So this commonplacing, just the activity of just doing this one little facet, can really invigorate you and can give you some encouragement or inspiration for other types of projects or other kinds of things that, maybe you weren't even thinking about. So it really started making me personally think about like, what do I want to do in January? Like as far as like content wise, I know I really want to host. I used to host vision board parties, if you guys recall. I used to do that and I really enjoyed it. And I was thinking, this is very much, oh, and the other thing I used to do was like a word for the year type of content. So I actually have found quite a few of the printable kits that I had put together. I think some of them got used within like the membership that I've done over time. So it just was like very interesting how I was just like, I'm going to start collecting quotes. And this just kind of like pinged me in different directions and just giving me so much to think about. And like so many of the quotes just ended up giving you fodder to, I don't know, to really, start giving you something really deep and rich to ponder if you allow it to. So it's not just an act of like, I'm just going to sit here and gather, because commonplacing obviously can be a very lifelong event. It can take you years to gather things to put in your little commonplace book. This isn't something I expected that we would do, in the fall and then be done. We're done with our project. This was about setting it up and getting into the habit of paying attention and like picking out some kind of like little process that you enjoyed. Like, oh, I like doing cards. I like gathering them on an index card, doing a simple little craft style with it, and then tucking it in a box. And then over the course of time, you would watch this box begin to grow full of quotes. I kind of gravitate to that style in my mind because I love the idea of filing them, sorting them, organizing them. It kind of marries the two ideas together, where you have organization and you have like organization and being practical and also being creative. These are like my two favorite things coming together. So that can be, something that's a lot of fun. And that's something, that I had started with this little process. My brother made me this box for my little fun start. Now, these are pretty over designed for like a long-term, project where I was doing it more consistently and having a lot of them. This was, after a while, I was just making cards just because they were fun to make. But if I was doing it more as a discipline of gathering the quote, making that the priority, they wouldn't be that fancy. They would be a little bit less crafty. But anyway, the point is no matter what format you choose, gathering them up and having them, they should have an effect upon you in some ways. Sometimes it's more than just, these are lovely words. These are beautiful quotes. Because, I can say that about some of them, some of the words in here, they're lovely. But it is really awesome to have quotes that like change you, can have an impact on your mindset. They can have an impact on your attitude. They can help you heal parts of yourself, that some people carry a lot of pain. They have a lot of heartache. They have a hard time having certain kinds of relationships. So when you have, words be so impactful that it makes you think and ponder and, really consider, like, I really want to change this aspect of my thought process so that I look at things differently. That's amazing. That little quote that, that gives you that much, I don't know, purchase in how it affects your thought process. That's a very powerful and amazing gift. And those type of quotes, I feel like, need to be in a special little category all on their own. So I wanted to share that because it was very impactful to me. In the 10 years of doing the Reset Girl, I have experienced a gamut of different things. This has been some of the hardest experiences I've ever had, and things I never thought I would experience. Very, very painful experiences. A gamut of painful experiences. And then I've had very incredible, joyful, my cup runneth over experiences. So it has been like this spectrum of things. And, for someone who's lived as introverted and quiet a life as I could have on, trying to stay private or, just as, more isolated, I think it has been like, wow, this is not what I am not prepared for all of this. This has just been, it's been a lot. So I think that it's really been helpful to see some of these quotes recently and just to realize like there's like there's a therapeutic value sometimes to seeing just these little snippets of wisdom. They can really help you in process things or deal with things. So I thought this little commonplace thing is really a bit more than I had anticipated when I was thinking like this would be fun to do because, a lot of us have always wanted to have a little commonplace thing. It's reading season. A lot of us get very, into our books in the fall. But then, there was this unexpected fun thing that has come about. So that's a lot to share. But I thought that was definitely, that was my big, proud, like epiphany from the other night. So, okay. So onward and upward. The other thing I just wanted to mention is I have been looking at different kind of storagey ideas because sometimes you have a lot of different ephemera for your projects. And I think ephemera is very tricksy. It's very hard to manage and store. And depending on how you want to approach this, you might find that like you have little you might find that like some of your ephemera is like a perfect fit for some of your quotes, some of the things that you really get, that you're gathering. So I wanted to point out that like if you have like pocket pages like this, one of the things that I really love doing is taking a sticky note and writing on there like a little note to myself or like what this little pocket is for. You could do this with an envelope as well. I like the pocket pages because I have so many of them. But I'll tuck in the ephemera, the sticker, whatever it is that I have found and make a little note, like what prompt is this for? Because there are prompts associated with our project. So like, what prompt is this for? What quote is this for? What is this associated with? So if you don't have time to actually execute on it, you're making a little note, what is it for in the future? And that way you can kind of like label things, you have them together. Maybe, as you're tidying up, as you're cleaning up, sometimes you'll find quotes in magazines and you just don't have time for that. But if you gather them up and put them in something and make a note to yourself with one of your million sticky notes you probably have, you'll have them for the future. Another way of categorizing or sorting them is putting a sticky note on something and then tucking them into like a coupon file or a check file. They have these like, I got this up from the dollar store. It's a file folder. I got it for $1. These are really great for just tucking in those little ephemera, photos, all the little snips from magazines that you gather in your ephemera. So, because sometimes you'll find like the perfect thing that like will make that quote or song or snippet look amazing, and you just don't want to lose track of it. So tucking things away, putting this in a binder, having some kind of like storage plan for yourself, because this is kind of a longy term kind of project, will really, really help you in the future be able to like put your hands on like, have things at your fingertips that you'll know where they are. There's also things like, clear envelopes. Sometimes I'll segment some of like my special things that like I care about. These October Afternoon journal cards, as a lot of you know, October Afternoon is a brand that had gone out of business. So therefore a lot of their stuff is like precious. So I bought these from an Etsy seller. So these are super precious to me. I bought them recently. These were not cheap, but they're very much like my style. October Afternoon is like that super, super, super vintagey, mid-century modern type of style that I love, 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 love. So I wanted to have them for a special project, something that I was going to cherish. So I just wanted to make sure that I tucked these into an envelope, something that, like, if I was going to make something special, a keepsakey, something that I would want to refer back to, that's the project that these were going into. I bought them thinking I might use them in my camp, my scrapbook scout, and I didn't use them. So I have this little envelope is holding on to some paper. I absolutely love this color palette so much. So this little envelope has some special little pieces in it. So I'm tucking them in this. If you happen to have stuff that like makes your heart sing, little ephemera, special pieces, stuff that like you deeply care about, that's the stuff you don't want to hoard. It's the stuff that you want to use, and you want to use it in a project that you're going to cherish and care about. And I think that a Commonplace project could become that thing, because it's going to be this long-term thing that you care about, you know, possibly. If you're going down a road where you're treating it more like this long-term investment. Now, if you're just kind of like, hey, I'm just going to treat this more like a casual experience and I'm not going to make it precious, then ignore what I'm saying. Just ignore what I'm saying here. Just delete what I just said. But if it's something that you're investing your crafty time, if this is how you're investing your self-care time, like you're showcasing your little quotes and you're, you know, doing a creative activity as part of your self-care, then yes, by all means, use the good china. This is the time to use your good china and wear your pearls. So this would be a time to use good stuff, because this would be, you know, the little cards that you want to have and use. And you can make a fun little tradition out of it sometime. Maybe this is the stuff you pull out at the Thanksgiving table. Everyone read a quote. Pick a quote, any quote. Maybe you have your family, you pass some index cards out and you have everybody write their favorite quote. And then you craft the quote that they did. You know, it could be something fun. You have them write their quote on the back of the card and you craft the front of the card and you add it to your collection. That could be a fun little tradition that you start adding your family members, quote, like something funny they say, an expression that they use. Have them write it out in their writing on the back of their card, and you craft the front of it and you can tuck it in. And then you'll have something really meaningful. Because things like that, like my mom says so many funny things. She's got like her own little vocabulary. We grew up with her saying really funny things, and you don't really realize stuff. You know, you don't realize how you're like that your parent has like a funny vernacular. Like in, I don't know how many years she used to say this, but when she couldn't think of a word, she couldn't think of the word she was actually looking for without missing a beat. Now, when I can't think of a word, I'll say I can't think of what I'm trying to say. But my mom would insert hoochie goochie. I don't know where she got this from. You know, can you please pick up the hoochie goochie and bring it to me? It's a made up word. She couldn't think of what she was trying to say, and she would just insert hoochie goochie. She did this for years. It just was a placeholder made up word, and me, my brother, and my dad, we would just, what the heck? What does that even mean? What are you saying? Just because you use the placeholder doesn't mean that we're all going to understand you. That doesn't mean that we automatically can interpret that. Oh my goodness. But seriously, she did this for years. She never stopped doing it. As many times as we had to get her to clarify it, it didn't stop her. But now I look back and it's so charming and endearing that she did that. So to me, it's like, I would love for my mom to get a card. I'm probably going to do this when I go home and see her again. Is have her write out her definition of what hoochie goochie means, so that I have that, and then I will craft. I will craft it. I'll craft the other side of the card, so I will have that precious little card in here. That would be an example of mixing something fun with your little commonplacing. If you wanted to kind of like make little quotes, you know, make them a part of like your family life, is like funny things your kids say, your grandkids, your husband. Like, what is your little secret language of your marriage all throughout your life together? What's your secret code? What are those things? And you could add that to your your commonplace thing. I'm sure it would be funny. It makes it a little bit more fun and personal. So just, just saying. Just saying. So anyway, so there's some tips, there's some advice. So that's the Pinteresting, kind of like how Pinterest quotes can run the gamut. They can be super specific and nichey, but then you can get so much more out of them than just collecting, because there's some great motivating, specific educational quotes on there. Great stuff. And then start gathering materials you want to work with, keep them organized, and then think about quotes that people near and dear to you say, things that like from the past, things that are current, things that you want to like collect because like it's meaningful. We have the holidays coming up. Think about who are you gathering with? Bring out a deck of index cards. Even if you're not using a card system, index cards are really easy for people to work with, and you can always tuck cards into your book. If you're using an altered book, a binder, those are things you can easily tuck into things. We can all make pockets. So it could just be a fun little surprise quotes from your grandkids or your grown kids and your husband. And extra points if you have them write it out or add something, in their own writing, because those are precious too. All right, candy break. Okay. See, you guys are adding something already. So give some in the chat room. Share some of the funny things that your parents or your grandparents, some of their lingo, some of their funny things that they would say, even if you didn't understand it or know what was going on. What kind of funny things did they say? So Darla said her grandpa said, "Who's what's it?" Oh my gosh. And our grandparents, so Gen Xers and boomers, our grandparents had some amazing language, right? We're getting away from all of that cool language that we don't hear anymore. That's kind of sad. How language evolves and it changes, and then we don't hear that fun language, those fun words, that fun slang. It's different. Like the who's what's it? That's cute. I feel like that is in something. Is that in a movie or I feel like I just heard that in something. What am I thinking of? Somebody guess. That is in something I saw recently. I'll fix your wagon. Okay. Has a lot of sugar that just hit me. I don't know if you have a Trader Joe's in your area. I know a lot of you live on the East Coast, so I don't know. I've been to Trader Joe's in East Tennessee in Knoxville, but I don't remember any other Trader Joe's past that. They have the most wonderful little mini pumpkin, the little mini, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There's my freckled arms. Okay. I need to find a camera. That camera is blurry. There we go. They're a little teeny tiny little mini, peanut butter cup. It's so tiny. So like when you put it in your mouth, it almost like bursts in little pumpkin. I keep saying pumpkin. That's not what I mean. I mean peanut butter. Carrie says Carrie, yes, they are. I've been to the Trader Joe's in New York City. I stood in that line that wraps itself all around the room. Yes. Thank you, cousin. Yes, I have been to that Trader Joe's. Okay. Trader Joe's is such a cool store. I love that store so much. And I feel like the groceries there, in a lot of ways, they beat grocery store prices elsewhere. Mahia says my family would always use Babu's knucklehead. Every time we would ask my mom where we were going, she would say, oh, kind of seem. What does that even mean? I'm probably not even pronouncing that right. Kana, see me? My mom has said things. So the Hawaiians are interesting, Mahia. They have a lot of interesting expressions. Okay, I said it right. I'll have to ask my mom if she knows what that means. Maybe it's like a super secret. Maybe it's super secret. I'm going to ask her if I said that right. I'm going to ask her if she knows what that is. Can I come and see me? Okay. Another thing my mom used to say a lot to me when I was a kid, and I would ask her, can we go to the movies? Mom, can I go play? Mom, can I watch TV later? If you play your cards right. I would always be wondering, when will I be playing these cards? And how will I know if I'm playing them right? This stumped me as a child. I don't play cards very often. So how will I know if I'm playing them right? If you play your cards right. Oh, she had a lot of them like that. Why do these parents do that to their children? But I'm sorry, I just thought of the most brilliant one. My father, though, he could top that one. My father had this perplexing statement, and he learned it from his mom, because my grandma admitted that it came from her. It doesn't even make sense, and he would just repeat himself every time I would ask new questions. So, you know, when you're a kid who asks a lot of questions, and I was that kid, I always wanted to know why. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? So I'm sure he was just trying to get rid of me. You'd come and ask, Dad, what are you doing? And he would just respond. This is the literal statement. Cat fur to make kitten breeches. Do you want a pair? Okay, let me repeat that again, because your ears are not deceiving you. It does not make any sense. Cat fur to make kitten breeches. Do you want a pair? So then I would not understand what he was saying. So then I would say, what do you mean, Dad? What are you doing? Cat fur to make kitten breeches. You want a pair? So no matter how you would ask, he would just repeat himself. And I would just be so frustrated to not get a straight answer. It was like talking to your brother. That you would just go off mumbling to yourself. And it worked every time. That's how he handled it. He would just repeat himself until I walked off. I couldn't handle it. So for so long, that's how he handled it. My grandmother finally, one time, she finally admitted that was her who had taught him, that. For the record, Mark just looked it up. AI says this. The phrase cat fur to make kitten breeches is a nonsensical response used to deflect inquisitive questions, especially from children. It has no literal meaning. It is a classic example of a witty evasion often used in Southern and Appalachian American English to end a conversation when a person doesn't want an answer. When something is for. It is a humorous and illogical answer to a question designed to stop further questioning. The phrase likely originated in 19th century America as a way for adults to playfully put off children who are asking too many what-for questions. To playfully put off? This caused me psychological trauma. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad other children were traumatized by this. I'm glad it was so prevalent that we have an entry. The AI has been educated on the very important statement, cat fur to make kitten breeches. You want a pair? All right. Oh my gosh. Now I know. Exactly, Mahea. The mystery of the fur has been explained. So let this all be a lesson to you. If you have been affected, you go look it up. Go look it up. See where the origins of your torture comes from. Mine comes from Appalachian origins. This is how they handled things. There we go. Okay, Mandy. So there's your new parenting advice. There's a parenting hack for you, Mandy. Mandy's about to be a new mother. And there you go. You get tired of hearing, what are you doing? What's that for? There you go. You've been handed the baton. So those of you ladies who grew up in the South, had you heard this phrase with its origins of the South? Because my grandma wasn't from the South; she was from the Midwest. I thought that the Midwest was a bit kinder, Midwest nice. And my grandma, she was such a funny lady. She laughed like we have this same laugh. She's like a very loud laugh. She's a very uproarious type of laugh. So I wish I could have. I wish I could tell her how that statement really affected me as a kid, because I was a nosy child. I wanted to know what's going on. All right. So, Carrie, I saw your, let me see, let me go to I keep wanting to go to that, but I can't. Okay. Let me see here. Let's take a look here. My hand says, my dad would tell us, you don't know till you know. Oh, the classic. Do you think money grows on trees? Do we remember wondering about that? Had any of us ever seen a money tree? Uncle Mark, get set, go. You know how kids always say on the mark, get set, go. But in Amy's family, they say Uncle Mark, get set, go. Because they misunderstood. Amy, it's your Jersey accent. Oh, that's funny. Oh, Ellen, my mom hated when we would say so. And she would say, sew buttons on your underwear. I've heard that expression used in families before. What do we have against the word sew? Carrie says, our dad used to tell us to hold on to your patooties when we'd go over big dips. That's funny. Carrie's dad, my Uncle Dave, he is the one who tried to teach me how to smile, because when I was a child, I always crinkled up my nose when I smiled. So he took the time one time when he was trying to take a picture of us to tell me, stop crinkling up your nose. Smile without doing that. Oh, that's funny. I remember that, trying so hard to smile like a normal person. Spitting nickels. I love that. Okay. Darla says, my hubby's family are from Kentucky, Tennessee, and he's never heard it. Never heard it in my South. And Rebecca says, I grew up in South Carolina and I've never heard it, but I've written it down. Doreen says, we lived in Memphis for over 5 years and that one never came across the table for us. Shelly says, my mother would scream upstairs, stop bumping and jumping. We were making a wanted noise. I say it to this day. Ray says, my grandmother did give each of us a money tree when we turned 13. She tied 13 $1 bills on it, and the topper had a bigger bill. How cool. And then you really could say, see, look, money does grow on trees. That's cute. Madder than a wet hen. Well, do chickens get mad when they're wet? Because I've heard that expression too. The question is it true? Do they not like this? All right. I'm doing an awful lot of talking and no crafting. Okay. All right. Thank you, Southerners, for checking out on that for me. I honestly was not sure. I can't believe it that the internet said that there's an origin to that expression. I don't know where it gets its information from, but so far I don't have confirmation that any Southerners are owning that phrase. And the only woman I know who said it and the man who got it from her was not from the South. So I don't know. Perhaps we cannot trust AI after all. Denise says, I've always grown up in South Georgia and I've never heard that. My little face is so warm. Sean says, my dad said not to take any Yankee dimes. What's a Yankee dime? Oh my goodness, a Yankee dime. Isn't that interesting? All the expressions that people have had. And then they're going to fade away, after they just think things like fade. Yeah, I've never heard anybody who ever used cat fur. Okay, this just in. A Yankee dime is a slang term, particularly from the American South. Obviously, I think we can figure that one out. That means a kiss. It can be used humorously, often in the context of giving a kiss on the cheek in exchange for a small favor. Well, there you go, Sean. Your dad was telling you, don't let those boys get fresh. The question is, did he tell anybody else in the family this? Did you have brothers? Did he ever tell them not to take any Yankee dimes? Okay. What am I going to do here? Okay, so I'm pulling out my bingo prompts. I think I've given myself a headache from eating those little chocolates and also laughing too hard. The laughter is backed up on me. Okay. Okay. Now, I have a bunch of fun stuff on the bingo prompts to get you going on your little project so that you can decide how you want to start or jump off or do what you want to do. Before the show started, I did finish cutting up all my little journal cards. These are the separate little journal card kit that we have. They're like the little journal card add-on. So for the PlayKit, the Commonplace, I forget the proper name for these, I will be honest. So I finished cutting those up. I'm putting them in one of the little 3x5 photo boxes. And there's some other the ephemera that came with the kit. Those are not part of this. So I cut everything up and it's all in here. So this should help me if I want to use this particular kit. Should have everything in here. These are like little extra stuff that I happen to have. I liked the color palette. I am definitely kind of going back and forth on what I want to do. This is a good place to put a quote. There's another place for a quote. I think there's different ways to approach a project like this. One is like kind of setting yourself up with a cool book, like an altered book or a binder or pages or cards where you're just sort of like prepping things to add the quote to. So like that could be kind of fun. Like you're just being really loose with like, hey, I just want to make cute pages and do stuff. So this is from the last, it's the Late Night Crafty Club, the one before last. I had been working on her. And so to me, she would be really good to use with a quote that might be about, I don't know, something. She feels like a lady of mystery. So if I ever run across a certain kind of quote, she might be the perfect muse for it. So I don't know if any of these particular ones that I have here would be the right one. Probably not. This one, possibly indulge your imagination in every possible flight. Possibly that. Beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful. That might be a good one for Miss Audrey here because of how she looks. So I don't know, maybe those would be some. So depending on, what you want to do, sometimes it's just kind of fun to not really be concerned about the words as it is just about the crafting. So, leaving space for adding words later can be how you handle this, and just going, telling yourself, I'm just going to create fun little pages and I'll just add my words later when I've made more of a decision of how I want to record them, how I want them to look, where I want them to go. You might decide I want to put them on journal cards, and then they can be tucked. You can make pockets for them to tuck into, that kind of thing. Journal cards are kind of fun to use. I feel like it would be more fun to write it directly on there, though. I also like just putting her straight down on the paper. So I think I'm going to take her out and get myself some glue and try and use this glue up. Now, will say this, probably one downside of getting all your page prepped to add a quote later is that you might need a backup plan in case you mess up your writing, or how you add the text. Like if you write stuff out and you don't like how you handled it, have a backup plan. Are you going to cover it up with like putting down ephemera on top of it that you can write on? Are you fine with crossing it out? Because oftentimes the material is not something you can use whiteout on. I mean, whiteout is very specific what you can do with it. So something like that. Have a backup plan if you're going to approach the project that way, because I have made some really cute pages and then thought to myself, if I mess this up, it's going to stink, because now I won't have an elegant way of fixing it with all the work that I did. So here would be an example of like these really cool little pieces. I was like making a little pattern for these. Okay. I had some fun facts about, I know what I wanted to do. I brought some fun facts about Halloween, but I also wanted to ask you guys here we go. Trivia. Well, not really trivia, but also get to know you. It's very, very little trivia to be. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions while I craft. First question. What's the first Halloween costume that you remember wearing? The first Halloween costume that you remember wearing. Hi, Deb. That's funny. My dad delivered dairy products to restaurants and I helped him a lot. He says, get the Okie Dokie yogurt. And I'm like, what? The Okie Dokie, the blue ones, the Oikos yogurts. The Oikos is turned into the Okie Dokie. That's so cute. Okay. So Denise says a cowgirl. Gail, hi Gail, says a home sewn bear. Miss Carrie says a Jack in the Box. Carrie, that's so cute. Janice says I dressed up as a flapper when I was about 10. Darla says Cinderella with the plastic mask you couldn't see out of. Rebecca says a harem girl costume in the first grade. Ellen says I was a tree. My mom had me wear a green turtleneck and brown pants, and I cut 2 holes in the side of a cardboard box. Miss Crafty Happy Girl says Wonder Woman. When I don't know what happened to it. When I went home to see my for the wedding, and I was down at my mom's, I was looking through her pictures, and I totally found the picture of myself in preschool wearing my ghost costume that I mentioned on the last LNCC, and I could have sworn I grabbed it, but I just went through the pictures and it wasn't in there. So maybe I just looked at it and didn't do that, but. Yeah, I showed it to my mom, my innovative costume that she made me. And it clearly looked like I was wearing a white sheet that she cut holes out of. But she told me that I was wearing my dad's necktie. So she tied my dad's necktie around my neck. So there's, I guess, some level of creativity there. Laura says Raggedy Ann. Justine says Barbie from Barbie and the Rockers. Melanie says in kindergarten, a clown because mom made us kids pajamas that she added pom-poms to the buttons. Sherry says I was a ballerina in the 2nd grade. Hi, Anna. In 5th grade, I dream of cheating costume my mom made. Chris says that, Mario from Mario Brothers. Bonnie says, I was HR Puff and stuff in 2nd grade. Wow. That must have been an interesting costume. I would love to see that. Gail says the first costume she made for her older son was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I actually made my daughter's costumes. Not her first one, but I made like probably 4 of them. Believe it or not, I did. I just love these little hexies so much. So I think like a quote could go right here. Maybe a feel like something like this. Like a stamp, a stamp looking thing. Okay, maybe not that one. That one doesn't want to come off. Okay, got this one. I didn't have store-bought costumes ever. All my costumes came from the thrift store. My mom always found a way to like throw costumes together. Oh, and by the way, I have a quick little story to tell. I shared this little tidbit in the clubhouse, but I called my mom before the show and I told her I was going to tell this story. So I called her up and I'll tell you what I said to her. So one of the most memorable costumes that I wore, it's going to be one of the questions. So I'll ask you this. It's the next question. So I'll just ask because I think we're at the end of the questions here. So what was the most creative or funniest costume you ever had? So this doesn't have to be based on you being a child. It could just be at any point in time. But I'm going to give credit to my mom. So, because my mom always like put my costumes together. I never got a store-bought costume. So one of the costumes I had as a kid, she usually took me to the thrift store is where we ended up. And one year she dressed me up as I was like a gypsy fortune teller. And she got my brother's little soccer ball and she covered it in foil. That was my little crystal ball. And she put me in a bunch of my grandma's costume jewelry. And she put little winged eyeliner on me. And I had like a bunch of stuff that she got from the thrift store, like a bunch of like long skirts and all this stuff. Well, the reason why that night stands out to me so much is because that was the Halloween that my mom decided that was the night she was going to give us something new for dinner. And it was quiche, which we'd never, ever tried before. We'd never eaten this. So she serves us quiche and tells me and my brother, you guys can't go trick-or-treating until you finish your dinner. And I took one bite of it and I almost died. It was like the worst texture I'd ever put in my mouth. And I am like a texture person. It's not flavor as much as it is texture. So like I was like a little ghost. I don't want anything to do with this meal. And I sat there and cried in my chair at the thought of having to eat this on the night of free candy. I was the greatest torture ever. And she was so serious about this, like, you need to eat dinner or you're not going. Now, I don't remember how it was resolved. I just remember sitting there in absolute torture, staring at that plate of quiche. And how in the world does a parent serve something like that to their kids on Halloween? So I called her tonight and I called her up. And when she answered the phone, I said, hey, are you passing out quiche tonight to all the kids? Because I must harass my mother if I do nothing else. So anyway, that was I thought her most ingenious costume that she came up with. And I will not ever let her forget that she tortured her children with eating something for the first time. Who does that? And if you were that parent, show yourself, please. Show yourself so we can shame you. That's like Mark loves to tell me the story about how his parents always served oyster stew. That was the fancy meal at Christmas time. And it was the meal that would hold up, before opening presents. Oyster stew, which I we have both each been tortured. So anyway, so I hope that you all have been kinder to your children. Right, Justine? No Snickers for mom. So I couldn't help but call her and harass her for that. Are you passing out little quiches to those kids? So I'm sure in her mind, she was just like, oh, this is quick. I'll just throw it in the oven. I'll just give this to the kids. It'll be fast. She probably didn't consider that quiche is such an adult thing to eat. But I love quiche today. I love it now. I absolutely adore quiche now. But as a child, it was like, what is this? It's like an egg flavored sponge. What is this atrocity in my mouth? So Darla says, Mom sewed most of our costumes. The store bought ones came from grandparents. Mom took bed sheets and made a clown costume one year. It had giant pom-poms on the front. Lots of rickrack. Ah, rickrack. I like rickrack. I love the way it looks. It just is such a cheerful, happy trim. I absolutely love. And I love pom-pom trim. That's my other favorite trim. Doreen says, our torture meal was liver and onions when I was a kid in Memphis, and it was all my fault because I was anemic as a child. Oh, gosh. That was the solution to all anemia was give them more liver. And so, of course, your siblings were tortured on your behalf. Yeah, no, Gail, they were canned. These are Midwesterners that don't live anywhere near the water. So this was not, if they had been fresh, I would look differently at the situation, but we're talking about canned. So this is a little different. Right. Excellent, Justine, that you've entered the rickrack era. Denise says, I went to an adult Halloween party and went as a bag of jelly beans. I got a big clear plastic bag that would fit over my head and filled it up with colored balloons. How cute. That is adorable. That's so cute. Okay, I don't feel like I saw any answers though. Did you guys give me answers? Okay, so I'll go ahead and skip that one. Okay. Oh, actually, I did. I got enough answers. Did anyone's costume ever fall apart during the night? During your event, you're walking around, did you find yourself falling apart as you traveled? Okay, I think I'm gonna I love keeping things really simple. I don't know how much I should add. Although stuff like this just makes me want to add it because it's this, you know? Okay, I think that is not coming off that sheet, or I actually can't see where I'm pulling it off, so that's probably part of the problem. And also, these are dates. Those are not really the same. Okay, what candy was the ultimate jackpot when you were trick-or-treating? What was what was the candy you were like, I got this candy? So for me, it was a Mounds bar. That was my favorite candy bar. And the other candy bar that I really liked, even though it was milk chocolate, was the $100,000 Grand Bar. I loved that. And then sometimes, I don't remember, they had the Fun Dip, the little mini Fun Dips, you know, the the little white stick that you would dip into the powder. They had those. So like that was another candy that I really liked. Just because it was novel. It was like a cool candy. Not because it was like, so scrumptious. It was just like, ooh, this is so cool. So that was my jackpot. So peanut butter cups for Margie, Twizzlers. Snickers. A lot of the Snickers. I think the Snickers was probably like a little baby Snickers. This was a lot of fans of the Snickers. Did you guys ever have to give up candy to your parents? Was there a parent tax in your household? Now, I will say this. I don't think that like, I don't remember that I don't know. I honestly don't think that I was like selfish with my candy when it came to my parents. Like, you guys can't have any. I'm pretty sure that I would have offered them some of my candy because I mean, parents are generally going to want the candy bars. Come on. But I know that there's certain candy you're just not into, and then there's certain candy that's like your precious candy. And for most kids, I could be wrong, but I would think most kids care mostly about their little mini candy bars. At least we did. I don't know about today's kids, because today's kids get so much candy. There's so much candy everywhere. It may not be the same for them. Maybe that's why it's different today. But when we were kids, we were just not exposed to so much candy. That was just not something that we got our hands on like today, you know? I don't know. What do you guys think? Justine says wax lips. I agree. That was a very novel thing to get. A pair of wax lips, or the little wax Coke bottles, like the little bottles where you like bite the tip off and get the juice inside. Finding any of those little novel kind of candies, agree. That would be the jackpot. Homemade popcorn balls. Robin says. Darla says Three Musketeers and Milky Way. Alicia, good to see you. She says sixlets. Those were so fun. Do you guys remember the little sixlets? Those little teeny tiny candy balls. And they had like a little hard shell, like a M&M, but I feel like inside, were they like just solid chocolate inside, or didn't they feel like they were like crispy almost? They weren't like a M&M though. I liked sixlets. They were good. They came in like a little plastic sleeve, and they were really tiny little candy balls. They were fun. Denise says that her dad liked the Snickers too. Ellen says Pixie Sticks were a jackpot candy. Yes, Pixie Sticks. I think the magic of like tearing off that little stick and like dumping the powder on your tongue, the second your tongue touched the roof of your mouth and you could feel all that powder on it. Oh, like right now I can almost imagine it. Oh, that's funny. Instant sugar high. Darla says parents got to inventory it. Yes, that's true. I think that is kind of what probably happened. My parents did go through my mom did go through the candy too. Sherry says Baby Ruth. Yes, that was a jackpot candy bar. Very good. One good thing about the suburbs of Jersey is Halloween. Our houses are close together, but we got so much candy. We would fill up half a pillowcase, dump it at home, and go back for more. Yes, parent control in our house, had candles up until Christmas. Yes, we were restricted from eating candy till we dumped it out on the floor for inspection. I loved sixlets. No direct parent tax, but I know my mom snuck candy out of mine and my brother's bag. Yes, I always gave my mommy the Heath bars. They were her favorite. One time we stopped at the elderly man's house and he obviously had no candy and he gave up cans of vegetables. I got a can of peas. Oh, Alicia, I wouldn't have thought of putting the sixlets on ice cream. Margie says they were chocolate inside, but it was fake chocolate. Yeah. Sherry Susan says I liked Smarties. Smarties were, didn't it seem like you got a lot of Smarties depending on, I guess it depends on the neighborhood you were in. I always felt like I got a lot of Smarties in my bag. And yeah, they were the kind of candy I waited, like they were the candy I had at the end. Like I had them towards the end of my Halloween, and I would make them last as long as I could. So yeah, a lot of sixlet fans in the here. But Margie's not one of them. Lorelai says the candy cigarettes. It's so funny to think how like candy cigarettes were so cool when we were kids, trying to get the little dust to blow out like smoke. Justine says, my husband gave popping candy to our grandkids once, and when it started popping in their mouth, they cried. Do you, Justine, do you guys call it, is it called Pop Rocks in Australia, or is it called something else? Do you guys remember the urban legend is that if you had the Pop Rocks and drank soda, your stomach would explode? And like, as a child, I genuinely believed this. When those first came out, they were the coolest thing ever. Oh, Justine says that they weren't allowed to trick or treat, but they went to harvest parties at church and they left with candy and cake and cupcakes. Pop Rocks are the bomb. Yeah, they were. The gnats are still here. It's raining outside and they're still hanging in here. Hi, Kathleen. No, it's an urban myth, but when we were kids, we really believed this. Like I did. I really, because when we're kids and we didn't have like the internet to check these things, so like when you heard it, and then, and then now, like as an adult, did any of us go back and find out if that was true or not? I mean, whoever told it to you, for all you know, it's easy to to believe that really happened. And then why would you check up on it? But yeah, that was something we were all told, and I don't know why. Like why would this story pass around? But it did. I was really happy to see that they came back, on the market, because that was really fun. What they do, that little popping sensation. Okay, Justine says, I think it's just called popping candy. Okay. But they're the same as Pop Rocks. Do you guys remember when Pop Rocks came out and how cool that was? That was so different. What an experience they were. We'd never had a candy like that. The other candy I remember being very unique was the Everlasting Gobstopper. When that came out, the Willy Wonka candy. That Willy Wonka candy brand, they really came out with some really cool candy. The little Tartan Tinies, those were a favorite. I loved the little box they came in, and it had the little slide top. That was like just, like so cute, and they were so tiny and fun. But that Gobstopper, you would always be taken out of your mouth to see what color it had turned to. It was fun. Amy says, Pop Rocks and Coke, quicksand, the Bermuda Triangle. These were all real dangers in our youth. Isn't that funny that from one side of the country to the other, we all believed in the Pop Rocks story. And I did, totally. Oh, No, Kathleen, it is true that the Mentos and Diet Coke. Okay, so I don't know if inside the human body of what happens with Mentos and Diet Coke. I have not heard of that happening to a human being. So that's a different product. I've only watched it on YouTube, what happens when people drop the Mentos and the Diet Coke and the huge explosions. So we were talking about Pop Rocks and Diet Coke. I'm sorry, Pop Rocks and soda. Any soda. So if there was somebody that, yeah, I don't know. Has anyone heard that? I would think that with when your stomach is involved with all the stomach acid, I would think it would dissolve, it would neutralize that whole thing. Have you guys ever seen the videos of what happens when they drop Mentos into a 2-liter of Diet Coke and see the explosive way that it reacts? I think there might be more involved than just dropping it in there. If I recall correctly, it's been a long time since I saw the video, but it's actually really amazing. And there's videos of people doing like incredible displays with it, where they'll do like a sequence of the bottles getting Mentos in it and just different ways of doing it. It's shocking, like how in the world are these two items coming together and doing this crazy thing. Sorry, this is like the most chattiest little late night crafty club ever. That's not true. They've been chattier. I did do a little crafting. Let's see here. What is my next one? Tell me about the candy that you always tried to trade away. What's the candy we tried to trade? You want this? I know one of the candies that I had no interest in was Tootsie Rolls. I did not care about Tootsie Rolls. I didn't like them. Necco wafers, had no interest in those. I know my mom told me once they were her favorite candy, but I also think they were her favorite because she was a little kid. A little kid in the 50s, and I think in the 50s there just wasn't a lot of really good candy, so that's what I think personally.
Good and plenty.
What are you showing that to me for?
That's what you trade away.
Oh,
Those
Mark brought up a picture of a box of Good and Plenty. I'm like, why are you showing this to me? He goes, because this is what you trade away. The purple box of Good and Plenty, which, as you all know, is the black licorice one. It's got the white and the purple coating, and it's got the little black tube of black licorice. Those are heinous. I said it. They're heinous. Where is Kelly Anderson with her black jelly beans? The black licorice. I know there's a Good and Plenty that's the other flavor stuff, but Tootsie Rolls. Well, Justine, you can have my Tootsie Rolls. I will give them to you. You trade me, I'll give you 20 Tootsie Rolls for one of your candy bars, for one of your Snickers. I never, ever, ever liked those. There you go. Amy's agreeing with you, Mark. Licorice, popcorn, Tootsie Rolls are still icky. Thank you, Kathleen. High five. Robin says the peanut kisses and the orange and black wax wrappers. Yes, Robin, those were so gross. You guys remember those? They're little taffies. They were little peanut butter taffies, and they came in the black and orange wax papers. Do they even make those anymore? Gosh, they were gross. They were awful. They weren't even like a real peanut butter. They were like something else that was made to taste like peanut butter. Oh, they were terrible. You even bringing them up is making me think about them. Like, oh, I can feel like I can taste them in my mouth. Oh. Okay. Sherry Susan, you invoked the bottle caps. That was one of my favorite candies. One of the few candies where you could get like that flavor of like cream soda and root beer, and bottle caps were the best. I loved them. Okay. Yes, agreed on the bottle caps. Justine says, my grandson and I used to love watching those YouTube videos on the Mentos and the Coke. Hey, Debbie Farnham. Good to see you. Okay. So peanut kisses. Yeah, that sounds about right. Chris says anything with nuts. Chris. Lorelai says the licorice, definitely. Amy says Necco is equal to licorice. I agree. Well, that's just candy math right there. Gross and gross. Gross and grosser. There we go. Ellen. Yes, we wouldn't even trade Tootsie Rolls. Straight to trash. Justine is willing to take everybody's Tootsie Rolls. Oh, sour ball candies. I don't remember sour ball candies. Tootsie Rolls. Good and Plenty is on the list of gross. Good and Plenty is gross. Marks 100%. Carrie, Good and Plenty. You like the purple Good and Plenty? Let's just clarify. There's different types of Good and Plenty. There's a purple box, and then there's a different box. Is it pink? Because Laura says I love Good and Plenty. I thought there was more than one flavor. Am I wrong? Is it just one flavor? So Good and Plenty is a brand of licorice candy. The candy is a narrow cylinder of sweet black licorice. Okay, I stand corrected. I could have sworn, maybe I'm thinking of Mike and Ike, but I could have sworn that they came in two different variations. Apparently not. So Carrie and Laura, Good and Plenty besties. Oh, sorry. Justine says that she thought of Kelly too. Black jelly beans. I loved those. Miss Anti-Caffeine Crafts. That's a cute name. I missed what you were responding to. So either you're responding to that you loved the Good and Plenty too, or you're talking about the peanut butter. I'm going to say you're talking about Good and Plenty. You have to be. Robin says they still make those peanut butter kisses. My mother-in-law loves those. Maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe it's because they're an older candy. And when they came out, they're like a nostalgic thing because people didn't have all the variations that we have now. That's what I'm going to say. Margie says, I always gave away Bit of Honeys. Bit of Honeys they're in the same category, same similar taste to those peanut butter kisses, dare I say. I feel like they're similar. Would you guys agree the Bit of Honey has a similarness to those peanut butter kisses? Doreen says, we love taffy at our house. We made it at home for holidays. Yeah, a lot of us are ditching our Tootsie Rolls. Edie's also on the Good and Plenty train. There's a few of you. Justine says, my mom loved Fireballs. Fireballs are good. Oh yeah, the giant sweet tarts, the big ones they were like, had the shiny coating on them. Yes. Carrie's like, all the licorice. Well, I know what I'm getting you for Christmas. All right, that is what you were talking about. It was the Good and Plenty. Okay, black licorice. So we do have black licorice friends here. Shelly says, I did love the kisses. Okay, Mike and Ike's are the bomb to give you lots of varieties. Okay, equal opportunity candy eater here. Okay, so some of you are actually, a few of you are into the peanut butter kisses. Okay, Anti-Caffeine Crafts. She's not a discriminator against some of the candy that we're turning our nose up at. Okay, so indeed. Well, Mary Jane candy was a hit or miss. I don't know that I have tried a Mary Jane candy. I think that's another one of those classic candies. Have you guys ever been to like some of those like nostalgic candy stores where they sell a lot of like the really old school candy, probably older than a lot of us would have would have had. See, Mary Jane peanut butter kisses. Maybe the Mary Jane is like that peanut butter kiss kind of candy. Just kind of, Yes. Debbie says, anyone remember the dinosaur eggs? I do. I do remember those. Okay, where are we at? Did your family have any Halloween or fall traditions like pumpkin carving or popcorn balls? What was your tradition when it came to Halloween or like activities around this particular day event? It's almost as bad as Bit of Honey. Yeah, Bit of Honey. Not a fan. Not a fan. And that is what I would imagine. I in my head, I always sort of thought when I've seen Mary Jane, which they're cute. The little like the packaging looks cute, the little Mary Jane. But I just in my head, it just seems like it's going to be like a Bit of Honey, which never liked. So lost my front teeth on a popcorn. Oh my goodness. That must have been very memorable. You know what? I agree, Doreen. I bet a lot of the candy that we ate when we were younger is different now because, like what you're saying, all the real sugar that we all enjoyed is all corn syrup now. It's because it's so cheap. So no traditions for Miss Shelley. Some of you did caramel apples with the sheets of caramel. Every year we would carve a pumpkin and roast the seeds for a snack. Me too, Miss Ellen. That was my favorite thing. My mom would use the Lori's seasoning salt. She would toss them in oil and then put the seasoning salt on it. And that was what we ate when we watched the Charlie Brown Christmas, the Halloween special. That was the best. Going to Sunny Acres Pumpkin Patch to get our pumpkins. And they did a toned down haunted house, which wasn't scary. And then they had a hayride. We did carve a pumpkin when I was a child and lit a candle in it every night at dark until 9 p.m. the week of Halloween. I don't remember. I just remember that part of it would be like going to go get some kind of costume. Like my mom would take me to like the thrift store. I don't know why we never got why it always ended up that way. And then carving a pumpkin and putting watching the Charlie Brown special and eating seeds. But other than that, I don't remember us doing anything else related to the fall. You know, I don't know if it's like where we lived, fall was not really it wasn't really a big celebration. Maybe it's more like that in other places. I just don't remember it being like that where I lived. Maybe I'm misremembering. Certainly that could be it. It's different up here, like when I've lived in areas where it's more fall-ish, like there's a fall culture. Yeah, then I see a huge difference in how, like, what is available to do. Yeah, the Garfield's Halloween. I remember that one when that came out. I was still young enough to appreciate that. That one came out, and then that was the next Halloween special was the Garfield. Was there anything else that came on while I was still young? I'm trying to remember. We made candy apples and watched the peanut special. We knew it was fall when my dad would rake all the leaves into piles and we could jump in them. My dad would always carve a pumpkin when we thought the insides were so gross, and he was so brave. Tradition, my dad would go through my candy and sneak his faves. My mom would give me 3 days to eat my candy, then it disappeared. Toasting the pumpkin seeds was a favorite of mine too. We did carve pumpkins and roasted the seeds. One year we did a haunted bathroom. That's fun. pumpkin carving, trick-or-treating, and putting on that old Halloween noises record when people came to the door. Oh, that reminds me. Do I have the case in here? Did we ever? Oh, I think there was a couple years where my parents, one of my parents or both my parents, they took us to a haunted house. You know, like people set those up in a parking lot, like you walk through them. Which, you know, I was not the kind of kid that should do that kind of stuff because I was like a little like scared little kid. But yeah, I survived one of those as a child. So, yeah. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Thank you. So, this was not something that was related to Halloween in my house. This was, believe it or not, this was actually, my mom must have got this for me at Disneyland. But I had this my whole childhood. I don't even remember like how it came into my life. I was so young when she got it for me. But I listened to it all the time. So it wasn't related to Halloween, but it was like part of my I have the record's in storage. So I bought myself the CD. And I was thinking to myself, when I wanted to get like cozy in my room as a little kid, I put this on, and I know this sounds so crazy. My little cozy routine was putting on my Haunted Mansion record on my Peter Pan record player. And I made a little campfire out of my Lincoln logs. And then I didn't always take the time to make a pillow fort, but sometimes I did. And I would get myself all cozy in my fort and with my stuffed animals. And there was just something about like getting myself all tucked in there and listening to this little spooky record. It was like making myself all cozy. And it wasn't about being scared. It didn't scare me because I loved the Haunted Mansion ride as a child. It was like my favorite ride. And between that and Pirates, my family, like when the gates opened, it was like my parents would run. They had decided which one was going to be the first ride. It was always one of the two was our first ride we would ride at Disney. So it wasn't a scary thing. It was a fun thing to me. But having this record was like, it was one of like my most beloved, cherished childhood memories. But because it is today, I had Mark put it on for me, which was really hard because we don't have any CD players anymore. I think a lot of us don't. But I got a little player so that I could burn CDs for myself because the car that I bought has a CD player in it. It's like so I was like, oh, I'll burn some of the MP3s that I have onto it so I can listen to my own music. I thought it would be fun and be old school, right? So I was able to listen to it today, and it was like, oh my gosh, it sent me right back to my childhood, being all cozy in my house. It was raining out today, so this was like my little happy place. So this would be like one of my little traditions in my memory. Because at that time of the year, a lot of people in the neighborhood would listen to the Haunted Mansion, would be playing in their garage, or the chilling, thrilling sounds of the haunted house. That was the other Disney record that I owned that people would play for trick-or-treaters. So it would be like one or the other would be playing. So that is how my brain connects it to being Halloween. And it was so sweet. It was so funny because I was a little scaredy cat. I was really scared of the dark, but for some reason, this was like a really fun memory to me. And it inspired my pictures that I got for my for my little background, and the pillows and stuff I got back there were all inspired by my own little haunted house, my little haunted mansion. Because I was trying to remember like how fun and like gothic, and I watched this documentary about how Walt Disney envisioned his haunted mansion and the story behind it. I didn't ever really think about there's actually a story behind it and like what it represents and the really cool idea and concept behind it. And you know, he was such a visionary in how he Walt Disney, how he envisioned, making magic for people and immersing you in this little world. Each little ride that he built at Disneyland was like a little world. So each of them had a storyline and it had like purpose for his guests. So it was really cool thinking about that. And so I'm sure a lot of you, when we think about how like limited our resources were when we were kids, we didn't have a whole lot of like movies, and there wasn't just a lot of things. We couldn't just pop a movie on when we were kids. If you think about it, you had to wait for CBS to put on the Peanuts show. You couldn't, it wasn't on VCR for a lot of us. It wasn't available. It wasn't on cable. It was on regular network television, and you got to watch it when they put it on. It wasn't on demand, and you couldn't pause it so you could, get up and take a break. So that was how like so much of what we got to experience was pretty minimal compared to what things are now. So it was just, I don't know, it really made me think about how things were minimal and precious when we were growing up. Like that's why I think we're so attached to certain things, because we didn't have so much stuff, that was that we were so exposed to. When I think now how much stuff is like every single platform, Hulu, Netflix, there's like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 different movie platforms, and they're full of movies and programs, just based on like, that are like Halloween style stuff. If you were just to sit, people down to like pick from all of this, it's like overwhelming what someone's choices would be. And we didn't have anything close to that. We had our sweet little, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. and then we ended up getting Garfield came along. I remember that. And if I'm forgetting anything else, I don't remember. I could be wrong. I don't remember anything else. And then the only other thing that fits in this genre was Scooby-Doo. And that was available to us, in the afternoons when we got home from school. Was Scooby-Doo was like our after school cool show. And that was like a little spooky, and that was really fun. So, Lorelai says, I've been singing Monster Mash all day because the radio plays that nonstop on Halloween. Laura says, I played that record in my very first preschool class in 1985. Aw. That's cute. And Justine says, I love Disney documentaries. Yeah, there's like whole YouTube channels that do awesome jobs talking about Disney from the perspective of like really well researched, and talking about from whether it's like, if you want to focus on the movies from the early years, or the rides, like building Disney World or Disneyland. And it's so fascinating how they built these two properties and the things that they did and how they had to plan in advance. So it was really cool. So I just recently watched that, I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago when we were on our long drive, and it was really, really, really interesting. So let me move on to the next question that I have for you guys. What is your favorite Halloween TV special or cartoon episode? So like this question is about, how like television programming has like special themed episodes, around certain times of the year. For instance, Roseanne, the TV series Roseanne, back in the 80s, 90s, they always took a lot of pride in their Halloween episodes. Roseanne really clearly enjoyed doing them. So like that to me stands out as a series that did really good Halloween episodes. Does one stand out to me? The Simpsons always had what was it called? The Treehouse of Horror. So that's what I'm kind of asking is like, did you have a series or something that you loved how they did their Halloween shows? There you go. See, I feel like in the 1980s, every kid's show had a Halloween episode. Exactly. Does anything stand out to you? Do you remember something that you really thought was funny or that you enjoyed? Okay. I am going to make another, where is my, what am I doing? Is that baseball game still going on? Are the ball games ending? Okay, so moving on. Okay, so do I want to do a stampy stamp thing? I've been trying to get more stampy. So I've been doing a lot of crafting lately, believe it or not. I know I'm not, definitely not being crafty right now because I'm being chatty. We're talking. But I haven't been, I have been crafting a lot. I've been journaling crafting, which is new for me. That is not a strength of mine. I've not really been doing that at all in my life. And it has been so much fun because I'm just using stickers and washi and all kinds of stuff that I don't normally use, like just with abandon. I'm just like slapping stuff on there and not caring. It has been so freeing. It's been great because usually I get so stressed. Like right now, I'm starting to feel myself like, okay, you have to make things match and they have to look nice. And so it's really cool to have something like a project that's not like that. It's just like, just slap this here and this there and just throw a sticker on it. And the stickers are all random. They're not matching. They don't even look like something I would use. They don't even look like something I would use. That feels really good. It's been a really nice experiment. Amy says, I just got 2 pages done in my Commonplace book. Darla says, it looks like World Series game number 6 is on TV. Laura says, when my kids were little, they loved the Disney show Roly Poly Oly. I remember that show. And they had one called A Spooky Ooky Halloween, and that was just adorable. I remember that show. Auntie Caffeine says, I think of Home Improvement Halloween episodes. That's right. So some of those shows were really good at executing those type of themes. And I'm going to say that Roseanne they did a really good job. That one just popped into my head. Trying to think of, anybody else that comes to mind. Who else comes to mind? Bob's Burgers is a show that it's an animated TV show. I think it can be really funny. They have a whole collection of episodes, and I think theirs are pretty creative. If you like animated stuff. I don't know, it's just kind of interesting to see the different take on it. Dorian says, I enjoy late night craft or chatty club. Sometimes it gets chatty. It's the late night chatty club. Dancing with the Stars had a good episode the other night. Are you guys crafting in your Commonplace book? Sometimes I have a hard time balancing my craft with my chat. And I knew going into this that might be the case because I thought this was like a fun topic. I also have some fun facts, you guys, too, about Halloween because I thought this was actually quite interesting. This is from Wikipedia. I was expecting one thing and I got quite another. So I thought if you guys were interested in some fun facts, I could share that with you. But I still have more questions. More fun questions. Okay, so my fun episodes that I could think of was Bob's Burgers and Roseanne. I thought Roseanne really, that was like a favorite show of mine back in the day. I thought they did really good with their Halloween. Should have said Halloween episode 4, Dancing with the Stars. Is that like when they do they do like a special theme, like special songs and costumes and stuff? Is that they make it themed like that? Is that the I don't watch like regular television, so I haven't seen like what what goes on. Most of the stuff I've seen is like stuff that like what am I trying to say? So I'm trying to think of like I feel like anything I've watched is like Project Runway. So I got all caught up on that, and that's not something that is like tied to like anything that's more seasonal. Bob's Burgers, I guess, is the only thing that's like a traditional TV series. But okay, can't think of any. It's bedtime in this part of Ohio land. Good night, Darlis. Oh, and thank you for my sweet email that you sent me. I appreciate that. Oh, Margie says the costumes and the studio decorations are out of this world. Yeah, they spend a lot of money at this time of the year. Okay, so here's a little trivia question. What popular 1980s toy inspired a huge Halloween costume craze? Was it Cabbage Patch Kids, Care Bears, or My Little Pony? My Little Pony. What do I want to do? I love this. I love these like scientific-y illustrations. Like, you know, like they come from like a textbook type. It says like figure number 3, butterfly. I really like that type of artwork. It's really cool. And just for the, good night, Rebecca. And for the record, I didn't know the answer. Okay. So just so you know, I didn't know what it was. I had no guess either. Okay. So, your options are Cabbage Patch, Care Bears, or My Little Pony. What popular 1980s toy inspired a huge Halloween costume craze? So I don't remember this. I had no idea. So if you actually remember, impressive. If you're just guessing, then good guess. So the answer is, let me see, where are we at? Good night, Miss Ellen. Okay, so the answer is Cabbage Patch Kids. Now, this is according to AI. My 3 trivia questions came from AI. It says that when the Cabbage Patch Kids came out, that they were really huge, and this literally started a chain event where they ended up inspiring costumes. Now, I don't remember this, but that means nothing. Like what, unless you like wore a costume and you remember kids all wanting a Cabbage Patch doll costume. I just genuinely don't remember it, but it was describing the costumes. It was saying like the costume actually had like a bib, kind of like peplum, like not, did we talk about this before? That thing that sits right here, like as part of like yes, we did talk about this, because that outfit, that ugly outfit that was in the pattern. Yes, I remember this. And we were talking about, what do you call that piece of fabric that sits right here? Apparently that was part of the costume, the Cabbage Patch Kids, according to AI. Okay. So take that with a grain of salt. All right. Next question. Candy trivia. What year was Reese's Pieces introduced? 1978, 1981, or 1984? They became especially famous a few years later after appearing in E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which was in 1982. So I think that is what I would have tied it to. And so I would have said 1981, because that's what I would have assumed that they were kind of tied to, because remember how big they were in that movie? So I would have guessed wrong. Okay, here's another one. All three of these questions were hard. Here's another candy trivia. What candy bar slogan was 2 for me, none for you? Like, wow, that's kind of mean. Okay, so that's your hint. The hint is in the number. 2 for me, none for you. So I'm going to give you a hint. The number is the hint. What's 2 for me and none for you? Two for me, none for you. Yep, you guys are doing good. These are good guesses. Okay, the answer is Twix. There's two little Twix bars. So 2 for me and none for you. I don't know what commercial this came from, but like if they used it in a commercial, I'm assuming it was probably used in a commercial because the way AI said it mentioned something about siblings. So I was like, okay, then maybe that was like how they showed it was in a commercial. Like the siblings were supposed to like share a Twix. But then the way they divided it was like 2 for me, none for you. Either way, it's a mean expression. It's a mean saying. I don't like it. Moms wouldn't get that for their kids if that's how it was. That's not a good saying. I mean, really, as a mom, would that just sound like not a nice thing to say, have your kids say to each other? I'm just saying. I know it's being a little bit too uptight about it, but just saying. Good night, Laura. You have a good weekend too. Oh, Lorelai says, yep, there was a little girl in it. I just remember left Twix and right Twix. See, I don't remember this at all. I was just guessing because of it saying about siblings something. It made a little joke about it because AI provides it provided the trivia questions, but it didn't tell me the answers. So I was like, can I have the answers, please? And then it gave me these really it gave me these more elaborate answers. Let me see here. It gave me, I didn't copy the entire answer, so now I can't tell you. Okay, so here, where are we at? Okay. What's one treat you only seem to eat this time of the year? I have a guess what some of you might answer. What's one treat that you only seem to eat this time of the year? Chris says, I got the Reese's Pieces commercial in my head. Centerpieces, masterpieces, Reese's Pieces, 3 pieces, 2 pieces. I don't remember that. Oh my goodness. I will have to check that one out. That's a lot. And how you can remember the detail of that. 1 pieces. Candy corn, Amy says. Candy corn, candy corn. That's funny. That's a lot of candy corn. Margie says caramel apple lollipops. Mark says that's the first thing he thought of was candy corn. Lorelai says marshmallows for my hot chocolate, candy corn. Wow. Hi, Claire. It's good to see you. Pumpkin everything, Debbie says. Pumpkin spice everything and anything. Okay, candy corn was not even on my radar, but that makes sense that you guys would say that. Okay, pumpkin spice frappuccino. Okay, I was way off. None of you even said what I was going to say. So now I don't want to say it. I was not, I mean, it was pumpkin. It was a form of pumpkin, but okay. Candy corn. I didn't even think about that. Okay. It's a little, okay. I have a Mounds bar, a little mini Mounds. Ooh, I should scrapbook with the little Mounds wrapper. Therefore, I must take the Mounds out of its wrapper. Say it. I was going to say pumpkin pie. I don't know why. Okay, this is weird. Now, this has not been normal in my family, But all of a sudden, I noticed my mom has been buying pumpkin pie in October. Like, and Costco sells pumpkin pie. I don't know if they sell it all year long. Maybe they do, and I just didn't notice. But they certainly are selling it. And I noticed people are eating pumpkin pie like all through the fall. Whereas most of us are like, oh no, you eat pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving. That's it. Purists. But then I started thinking about it and I'm like, well, I guess it makes sense that you'd want to eat pumpkin pie through the fall. I mean, it's a fall treat. It's not something I would want to be eaten in the summer, but I can see people doing that. So then I started thinking about, I'm like, I bet a lot of people might do that during the fall. Maybe this is that crowd. So that's why I was like, all right, that's what it's going to be. Pumpkin pie. And then you guys all said candy corn. There you go. Sherry, thank you. Sherry says, I just made a pumpkin pie last night. Thanks for having my back. Okay. Chris says, I YouTube searched Reese's Pieces retro commercial. All right. I shall look that up. Sherry says, I love pumpkin pie. Have you guys ever had Costco's pumpkin pie? Now, I know that might sound like an abomination to some of you. That you're like, I make my own, thank you very much. Our family's recipe has been in our family for generations. Oh my goodness. Amy's like, she sings a Reese's peanut butter cup commercial opera before starting a monstrous task. I love that. Oh my gosh, you guys, we have been so affected by media and television. So Costco's pumpkin pie is, I would say, what our family has been eating for the last 20 years, 25 years, 20 years. How old am I? It hasn't always been that way. I've eaten plenty of homemade pumpkin pie, but Costco's pumpkin pie is pretty bomb. I mean, if you're going to eat, store-made pie, it is, I mean, they sell tons of it, and it's really inexpensive. So I think it's like $6 for a big pie. And they're okay, I will have to check this out. So a Reese's peanut butter cup and the Reese's Pieces commercial, which apparently have made quite an impression. All right. What's going on out there, my friends? Are you guys crafting? Are you just chatting? What is happening out there in late night Crafty Club land? I know some of you got your eyeball on a baseball game right now. Some of you are watching this. Some of you are crafting. Some of you are doing what? I'm eating a Mounds bar. There you go. Amy says, I just made 2 pages and posted to the clubhouse. Good girl, Amy. Excellent. Lorelai says, I was reading directions from my bookbinder machine. Good night, Mahia. I'm so glad you were able to join us. I'm happy when you join in. Okay, Margie says, I've gotten 2.5 spreads done. Sherry says, I'm crafting on my journal. Are you jamming on your planner? Chris says, I'm doing an amazing return. Amazon return for a package that you just got 30 minutes ago. Isn't that funny? I did the same thing. I literally opened the package. I looked at it immediately. Was like return. Doreen and Amy are looking at the opera video. Kathleen's working on her Commonplace book setup. Excellent. Justine is making Christmas ornaments. Justine, I love how ahead of the game you are. Are you sewing them, or are they a different material? What are these little ornaments? Are they for your family? Are they for your grandkids? Denise, Corey, can you give me some ideas for some of the sections on the bingo sheet? Let's look at this bingo sheet. A pocket or tuck spot. So a pocket is like creating a pocket for you to tuck your like I just realized like all of my example stuff I took out there. It's all in a box. I'm packing everything up. So like making a little pocket to tuck one of your cards in, like let's say you wrote out your little quote and you like want to tuck it into a pocket or an envelope, so it like makes it kind of fun. And I'm sure you've seen me do that. You've seen lots of people do that, just making a little fun little place to tuck something away. I don't think this particular book is kind of narrow. It's not that type of book. Seasonal stickers. So using something in the seasonal variety. So whether, obviously I was thinking more like fall season, but you could also do winter season, or, just something that gave you a seasonal flavor. You could be working on this every season, because this is something you're going to work on all throughout the years. Favorite ephemera. So using something special, something that's like I was talking earlier about, using something like special things that I had tucked away. Like this would be an example, something I bought really special on Etsy, something that was really personal, something you're hoarding. That's what I would call a favorite ephemera. A flip out tip in. So something I'm hinging in here with washi that, oftentimes people will write something on the inside of a journal card and then they'll hinge it with washi. Have you seen that? That's pretty common. If you look up tip-in on YouTube especially, you'll see lots of women doing tip-ins in different ways. So that gives you more writing room when you've made a little page, and because do I have washi on my desk? I don't have washi out here. Can you guys hear the rain? I'm not sure if it's loud enough for you to hear it. It's loud enough for me to hear it. Like loud enough that I think that it's distracting, but I don't know for sure. So like here would be an example of like tipping something in as I'm just hinging. See how I just attached it? So now you can flip it out. That's a flip out or a tip in. So it makes it kind of fun and interactive. So that's what this is. Faces. So to me, adding something with faces to it is just like a fun example of like, can I use pictures? There's faces. Pictures of people. Here's some die cuts of people's faces. So yearbook photos that I have, pictures of family. So like, how can I integrate those stitch details? So like, I personally love adding little details that make it look like I stitched on there, like this is like with my pen. Seasonal quote or song lyric. That one is just, that one should be easily understood. Making a bookmark, hidden journaling. So this would be an example if I wrote something here that was more like putting my quote or a lyric or something in here that was more hidden. I would count that as hidden. A tag, using a tag shaped something. I don't think I have any on my desk, but like a tag shape, putting them, tucking them in. You could get like 2 in 1 if you did a flip out tip in with a tag. That's like checking off 2. A layered cluster. That is a combination of things that you're layering together. So some people are really good at doing layered clusters. That's just making a piece of ephemera with like several pieces. A cluster is just bringing several pieces together. I'm just using this as an example. These pieces are not really. So that would be an example of a layered cluster. And now I'm going to attach it to my page and then call it good. So like something that's just a bunch of pieces that come together. That's a layered cluster. Junk mail packaging. So I'm specifically going to use pieces of junk mail or packaging from something in my project. Experiment is trying something. Torn paper, literally tearing up paper and putting it in there. Cozy colors. What colors that you care about that feel cozy? What does that mean to you? And interpreting that, bringing those colors into a page, a section, a spread. Hey, everybody who attended the LNCC, if you're hearing my voice right now, you can check off this particular little square. Let's all do it together. Check off this one. I like to use a marker. Question is, do I have... See, this is the problem. I've already started kind of moving stuff around because I am trying to move myself and start minimizing stuff. And I think that I've moved stuff that I do not have. Now I don't have the right stuff up here. I have moved it out of my... I just need one highlighter. Dang it. All right. Anyway, this can get marked off if you are listening to me. This attend LNCC. Pattern play is just mixing up patterns. Many layers. So using stuff, using a lot of patterns, or using a lot of layers, I should say. So this would be pattern play to me. That's how I would interpret that. Not that it's in a grid necessarily, but that I use so many different patterns and played around with that. That could be a pattern play. Many layers to me, that would be an example of many layers. I have like that layer, this layer, and that layer. I would probably call that many layers. Cozy corner time. So one of the things that I mentioned, I can't remember if it's in the membership, is talking about like setting yourself up. I think it's in the very early stages of the membership material that I gave everybody when you signed up. Before the kit came out, it was in this stuff right here. I don't know if it's in it or what I wrote. I can't remember now. And it talked about getting yourself like set up with a cozy little corner and making yourself have like a place where you could get it cozy, decorated, a place that like felt comfy, whatever that meant to you. So that was like spending time in that little spot, whether that's like a little chair, your little cozy place where you're like going to craft, whatever that is. So like spending time there and checking that off. And then there's like 3 experiments, I think, on this. Maybe there's 2. I thought there was 3. So there, I see 2 here. So there's 2 experiments. Envelope is using an envelope. Card is using a card. I'm not sure if I'm being helpful, but these are things that I would look for in your stash and kind of like look around to see like, what can I have? What can I use? Especially, it just really depends on what this project means to you. Is this a project that you're like trying to make it meaningful and something that like is more of a keepsake, something that you're going to contribute to and like really put effort into? Because if it is, then this would be stuff that I would want to like look in my stash for like good stuff. What's a good card I could use? One of the things I personally like doing when it comes to like a card, there are like really cool cards. Like if you are out and about and you go to like Trader Joe's has really cool cards when you first walk in the store. They're like that are really cool illustrated style cards. They're inexpensive cards, but to me they're like really cool and like very graphic, and like they would be really neat kind of added to like a binder or an altered book. So like a card could be like a gift, a greeting card. It could be something of that nature that has a cool quote on it or a cool sentiment on it, something of like that. So you could think outside the box about what type of card you want to add. Or it could be, you know, something more like this. This to me, a journal card. So it could be something of that nature. It could be an index card. This is an index card divider, but you could use something like that. And then stamped, and then paint and ink. These are like items that are like things that you could grab from your stash and things that you can try. So I want to try like spreading some paint on the page, dripping some ink on the page, you know, trying something new. Ink could also be just if you really don't want to like spread ink around, I would try something like this. This is one of those little dual tip markers. These are really fun. I have really enjoyed. These make these perfect little dots. This is a paint pen technically, and they make perfect little round dots. There's 2 tips on them. This one's the larger tip, and then there's a little skinny tip. So you could make some designs on there, and there's white and there's black that you could do something with, you know. So, and then if that's something you trying for the first time, that also knocks out this. So it's actually quite easy to knock out multiple spots doing one thing, because that could be an experiment with paint and ink. And it also could, if you do it on a tag, let's say, if you took a tag and did it there, or you did it on a card like I just did. Let's just say that's what you did. You experimented, you put some paint on a card, you could get 3 spots completed right there. So this cozy corner time, this attend LNCC, and the bookmark are not really tied to the Commonplace project specifically. The bookmark is for you to make a bookmark for your reading in general throughout the season for fun. And you could put a quote on it because you're already finding great quotes. Like that's what I would do, is make myself a cool bookmark and then put a quote on it that I found, you know, especially because there's some great quotes for the season. I believe I have one on here that is like, here's one that is for autumn. There's the one from, this one I love because it's from The Outsiders. It was used in The Outsiders. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. I'm sure us Gen X girls can remember Pony Boy reading that. Then we have quite a few little short ones down here. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul, from Emily Dickinson. So those would be great little bookmark quotes, you know, so that would be fun to do. So you could make yourself a bookmark and go sit in your cozy corner and do some reading. You would knock those 2 out. You could put some stitch details. Like for me, the stitch details is, there's different ways to achieve this. So, let me show you here it is. So like, as an example, a stitch detail, like this is really literal. So this came from 49 and Market. These are like rub-ons that look like stitching, like with the sewing machine. Now, and they are really cool. So they're really fun. But let's say like I would totally use these for a lot of different projects, but there are times where it's also easy to recreate part of this look. Oh my goodness, you guys, I'm so sorry. I feel like I don't know what happened to all my pens. They're all out in the other room. Okay, so I need a really, you want a really inky pen. Okay, I'm gonna go get my inky pen. 1 second. Okay, so there's certain pens that are really good at this, and one that I love, this is a really good inky pen. It's the needle tip, sorry, so you can actually see it. It's the needle tip 0.7. It's the Energel, Pentel Energel. So this is not going to give you precise writing. This is a little bit thicker of a tip. So I like this for very specific things, but one thing it is really good, it has one of those little needle tips, but it gives really, really nice, smooth, flowy ink. And see how I managed to get that to look like, sorry. See how it looks like a stitch? It looks just like this, the stitches. Whoa. Good night, Amy. Get good sleep. Doreen says, I have that pen. I love it. I have 2 pens right now. I am so in love with them. They are like Wonder Twins. So this is one of them. And I should have grabbed the other one before I came in here. I'll be right back. 1 second, please. Okay, this is the other one. If you are a Hobonichi Weeks person, and you know the Hobonichi Weeks, if you're familiar with that one, you know how you need to have like very small writing and a drier pen. This pen is awesome. So it is a drier pen. It doesn't have inky, like an inky style writing. It is the Sarasa. It says 0.4, so it's probably closer to a 0.38. And it is definitely a nice sharp counterpoint, but it has, I don't know how to explain this part. Unlike a lot of dry, like this is Hobonichi's pen. They are different. Even though they look the same, they have the same little tip style writing. This one writes way too dry. Like it is like too dry for me. This one has a little bit more, it's a little bit, its tip is a little bit softer, and it just, it writes with, it just writes like a dream. I don't know how to just explain it. And I wanted to give it to my cousin, Carrie. I wanted to give you this pen so badly. I wanted to let you have it. But I have 2 of them. One of them already has like this little part was broken. I don't know if any of you have this pen. You can tell me what, oh, Margie does. I love those mark-ons. They are great for playing because you can highlight over them immediately. If, oh, that's what mark-on means. Okay, that makes sense. That I did not realize that's what it meant, but that makes sense because look what it looks like. It is like you can highlight over it, which is what I do. Will either one work on washi? This one I have written, this one is more writing on washi, but I cannot tell you how steadfast it is because I cannot think of like, because I have washi stickers. I have lots of washi stickers now, and I have written over the top of them, but I can't tell you the timing of it, how quickly it was right after, like, did it smear? I mean, I didn't see any smearing, but I can't tell you. I didn't test it for that. So I will do a little test to determine that. But So the pen that is really good for writing on washi, if you want it to be really steadfast, it's a Tombow. Tombow has one that is oil based, and it has a sharp little tip and it has a soft tip. It's called Tombow, and look for one that it says oil in the title of it. And someone from Tombow actually gave it to me and said, this pen is for writing on washi. But I would say this one would probably work for that personally. But this one, here's the only thing with this one is because the tip is so sharp, like when I have to write over like correction tape, you have to like use a very light hand because it will cut into that correction tape. It's more pokey. Whereas this one is much softer. It has a soft writing, and that ink it's just smooth and buttery. But you are definitely going to get a thicker line, and it's a little bit more sloppy. My writing isn't going to look as nice with this one, and I accept that. My writing looks the best with this one. But the line is thinner, sharper. It's not as deep black. It's just they write different. They're different pens and they have different ink. But I love them for two different reasons. So this is like a fun pen. This is a pen I don't care. I'm just going to have fun with it. This is the pen that's good with marking stuff. Like the little marks I like to make, doing that kind of stuff, doing this. It is a fun pen that is just like making big, bold little marks all over the place and not caring how great my writing looks. But this one, if I want it to be precise, if I'm more caring about like how clean and things look, then this is the pen I'm writing with. So that is what I would have to say. So Denise, I hope that is helpful going over that. If there was any, I don't know if you were looking for more inspiration than that, but if there was any question, I generally don't tend to explain these. So I don't know if there was ever questions about it that you guys didn't feel there was clarity on these. I've just been assuming you guys knew what to do. So, Margie says the mark-ons would, and I'm thinking you're talking about the mark-ons would work on washi. I haven't found anything they don't work on. I've also written on top of colored pencil with the mark-ons. Thanks, Justine, about my nails. That is true about correction tape. I forgot about that. That's the only downside. The downfall is that you just have to be super tender about writing on correction tape because it's got a pretty sharp tip. And they come in a 0.5. So, okay. So these are my two pens lately. Like these are the only pens I use are these two. This is my more artsy pen and I am absolutely loving it. Like I've been using a happy planner, believe it or not, a classic happy planner to journal in. I've been using, it's a dashboard style planner, and I'm just using it to journal in. And I've been using this one, like, you know what this one helps with? You know what this is an exercise in? Breaking the hold of perfectionism. So if you want to break out of, if you're trying to break that hold of being a perfectionist, this is your pen. And that's my opinion. This pen helps you stop being focused on that. This pen helps me write in small spaces. And I know that like sometimes I get very stressed about like, do I have enough space to write everything I want to write? How do I know I'm going to have enough space? So this is me trying to just get as much information as I can down. And so this is about like, I want to get a lot of writing in a small space. And this is about, I don't care. I'm just writing for writing. It's fun. It's fun to write with this one. So, Justine said that dashboard happy planner is mine too. Yeah. Hi, Diane. She says that this one is, it's really nice for little spaces. So this is a great pen for those who have the Hobonichi Weeks, because that is definitely a small, compact space. I think about that all the time, is this is the pen for people with planners like that. Even the cousin, which I have like a 2020 cousin, and I'm just using it I'm using it like a notebook. I'm just making random pages in it and stuff. So that's kind of really what started me doing it. And I've just been having a lot of fun just using these. So this has really been an experiment, an exercise in just doing like stuff I don't normally do, stuff that you don't see me do. Crafting in a style that I don't normally craft in, using stickers and stuff I don't normally use, like using stuff you guys have never seen me use ever on my channel. Just totally breaking out of a totally different style mindset, just doing things totally different, not overthinking anything, and just trying to train myself to just enjoy the art of crafting. Just the act of laying down a sticker, feeling the sticker come off the page, just enjoying laying it down. Just enjoy that. I mean, doesn't the sticker feel so delicious when you pull it off that sheet? That, I don't care how old you get, there is just something incredibly magical about that feeling when it peels off, starts to peel off that page. Like if you could bottle that feeling up, oh my goodness. And I'm trying to just like, I want to feel the way I did when I was like that 12-year-old kid. I did not overthink where my stickers went. Now, true, I didn't use a lot of my stickers because I was, I hoarded most of them. But now I bought myself a bunch of stickers, a bunch of them, so that I wouldn't feel that mentality of like, oh, I need to hoard. They're all special. I bought cheap stickers that are not hoard worthy. Just use the stickers. Use them. Just use them with abandon. And boy, it's been great. Kathleen says that she writes too big. The Hobonichi stress her out. Yeah, I can imagine for people who write large that would be a very stressful experience, especially when you're looking at those little grid, the grid paper that they use. I can feel a little bit of your anxiety about it. So I have been experimenting over here, my sweet friends. I have been trying new things because experiment is my word for 2026. So I have been getting an early start on trying it out and seeing what it feels like, because I know that these perfectionist problems I have held me back so much from doing things, including creating, like being a creator, a crafter, trying things. It's why I you haven't seen me evolve very much in my crafting, is because I have such a hard time trying new things because I stay so much in the same lane. But when I see myself do stuff, I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool what I just did. Why don't I do that more often? How come I don't try this? How come I don't try that? And I really want to see myself expand and grow. So if I learn some new skills or techniques, and if I learn to break out of this perfectionist thing that I have all the confidence in the world that I'm going to be just much more of a creator, much more of a just not just a crafter, but just more of a creator, making things and building things. So it just, it's all in these little steps, and for me, one of the things is just learning to like be consistent in that happy planner, getting over like how my handwriting looks and how the stickers look. Is just like get messy stuff all over the pages if you have to. And it doesn't look like any of the stuff that you guys have, seen me do. And I have just been enjoying that process. So like just doing it for enjoying the process. And that's really what I would tell any of you, is like, we should be doing things to enjoy the process. Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? But I am not doing that. I have not been doing that. I only do stuff for the sake of like, I'm going to I'm making all this stuff for the sake of like launching a camp. I'm doing all this stuff for the sake of like sitting here to do late night crafty club. So I need to take my own advice. I need to do this for myself. So this is going to be really, really awesome. I am really excited. I think 2026 is just going to be such a great year. It's going to be a year of like creating many things and just watching myself like develop and experiment is going to be this really wonderful North Star for me. So I invite you to join me in that process, because I think that I want to make that a really like not just a North Star for me personally, but for the Reset Girl. Like I want to show I'm doing that with the Reset Girl. Like I want to show that in what I do. Everything is a potential. Everything is like, I'm trying this out. So that one of the things I was realizing, like when it comes to things like my newsletter, I never get things executed because I feel like it always has to be perfect when I send it out. Like I don't love the header. I don't love the style. And until I figure out how to make it this wonderful thing, I don't want to send it at all. I don't want to do stuff until it looks a certain way. And then that means you guys never hear from me. So I just realized, you know what? That's not who I am. I'm an extremely imperfect person. So how about if I just own being an experimenter? How about if I just own being kind of messy? That is the truth. I am being authentic. So what if you just own these things? You'll get a newsletter every now and then. All these other women are like, you'll get a newsletter weekly. You'll get it monthly. And I'm like, you'll get it when I send it. So anyway, I don't know. So it starts with a pen. I just decided like, he'll be one of my first experiments is like, let's see if we try it with pens and stickers. Let's see how that goes. And I've been extremely consistent with it, which is the first time ever in all my years of being consistent with journaling or doing anything remotely like that. So that's pretty amazing for me. So yay. So yeah, if you struggle with perfectionism when it comes to your work, like you creating things, if you find that to be true, if you have comparisonitis, you look at what other people are doing and then sit there and, are really judgy and mean to yourself that you're not doing what they're doing or your stuff isn't as nice as what they're doing. This is a really good time for you to, especially as we're kind of heading into like, we're getting closer to a new year, is really to embrace this idea of, thinking of what you do as being like, I'm an experiment. I'm going to try something new, and not being locked into an idea that I have to create a certain way. Like maybe this time I'm going to try something different, that like, you don't have to have a style or a certain way of doing something, is trying something out, trying something on. And, a lot of times, I've been reading this, pretty consistently is copying is okay. Not in the sense that you copy and then claim it as your own, but copying a style that belongs to someone else for yourself to see what it feels like, to kind of go like, what do I like about this? What did I like? What did I not like? What feels right? When you start somebody's like process, or you start kind of like going down the road that you see someone else's work, like this is what artists do, by the way. They study the great artists, and they literally sit there with their paintings, their canvases, and they literally copy the artwork on the wall in museums and galleries all over the world. This is how artists train. This is what they do. So when you do it using Pinterest, let's say, as you start kind of manipulating and you go, well, they use this, I don't have that, so I'm going to use this. You start substituting your preferences for what they used. Maybe they use this image, love that image, I'm going to substitute this image. Or they use this style or that color, I don't love that, I'm going to use this. So even when you're emulating somebody else, you're still putting your twist on it, your style to it, but they gave you a footprint to work with. So it's still not you, it's you with training wheels. It's you trying on somebody else, someone else's vision, someone else's work who probably was influenced by somebody else. And then you kind of go down that road, making your own choices. And then you try it again, and then you try it again. And before long, some of those little pieces become a part of you. They become part of you in that season. Eventually, down the line, some of those things might drop off because you've developed new things that you like doing, new little bits and pieces. I'm sure, 5 years from now, I'll look at my work and go, oh, I don't do that anymore. I don't do this. I don't do that. I can see there's like crafters or creators that I loved. I'll look at their stuff that's really old and go, oh, wow, their style has really changed, because that's what happens when you keep creating and you keep being true to whatever this little creative flow is, whatever your heart is following, and whatever you also become influenced by, because as creators, we should, continually be looking at other artwork, other genres and other styles of things, because you can pick up inspiration from all kinds of things, like textile artists and interior design, things from other niches. You can be inspired by like the color palette or textures that belong to a totally different category of creators. And that's kind of fun and exciting, is like the interpretation of somebody else's work in a totally different arena. Interpreting it for paper, interpreting it for mixed media. That's a really fun way to approach it. So, Shelly, what was the name of the pen you can highlight over? It is this pen right here. It's the Sarasa. This one's called Mark On. And Margie, thank you so much for giving me the down low on what all of that meant, like all the little details about that. That was very helpful, because I actually didn't know the little mystery behind the name and all of that. I now know. One of the books that I want to read, I have it on my Kindle. It's called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. And that is the entire premise of the book. And it is about that, because when you think about some of the greatest artists in the world that are, like Michelangelo, all of the Da Vinci, Picasso, those are people that have inspired hundreds of thousands of artists. That you have writers, Hemingway. I mean, think of the greatest writers, right? And they've inspired hundreds of thousands of writers. That's who you read. That's who you study. You study them. I have taken writing courses. And that's what you do as a writer, is you study other writers. It's what you do. I've taken tons of art classes. In college, you study other art. It's part of the process. And so the idea is that you are inspired. Now, when I say that, I do struggle a little bit, because I really don't like, there's a part of me that doesn't like the idea of feeling like, well, I don't want to copy somebody. But I also understand that when I look at someone as an artist, and I understand that it's not different, but if I'm taking somebody's work and I were to recreate it, what we should be doing if we were to share it is to say, this is based on so-and-so's work. This is inspired by so-and-so's work. So giving somebody proper credit for their work, I think that's the key. But one of the things that he makes a point of saying is this is the process of becoming a creator, is being inspired by, and doing this process of copying, which is why he calls it steal like an artist. It is from time immemorial what people do. So I don't know. I'm very interested in reading what he had to say. So, and as you know, anytime you've ever seen someone else's work, you are looking at what they do. None of us ever have the same exact material unless you've taken a class and they've given you a list of materials and you've paid that person to like, tell me how to take these materials and turn it into that project. Unless you're doing that, you are going to have to substitute what they did for what you have. So you're already going to have like a slight difference. But I think that like there's certain things that just seeing around, like I can tell when I look at my work, I can see a few things that I do now that I know were inspired by things in the mixed media world that I noticed like years ago. I saw some people do that I loved, and one of them was like this grid idea, having a grid layout, and I love this. My little organized, the part of my brain that loves organization. I loved this the first time I saw that. Like, I don't know, it was probably like, I don't know. I saw this like on someone's Flickr account, like 12, I don't know. It was pre TRG. So it'd probably go back like 15 plus years ago. Some woman had all of these type of little mixed media collages on her Flickr account. And I just thought it was so cool. And years later, when I was combing through one of my Pinterest boards, I came across one of her pictures and I was like, oh, I forgot about this. So of course I drag out all my little scraps. I'm like, I'm going to just put grids together. And it was the most fun thing. And now it's like one of my favorite things to do. So like that's a concept, that's an idea, something really fun. And I'm telling you, it's really fun to do grids. So yeah, anyway, just a thought. So, not as much crafting for me, but I'm glad Amy was crafty tonight. I don't know about you. I don't know. I didn't see a lot of you talking about all your crafting, but Amy got her homework done. She posted it in the clubhouse too. So, but I was so happy to spend the evening with you. It was so much fun. I had my fun facts, but I guess we have been here for 3 hours, so we'll call it a night. And it was and hi Miss Penny. You're saying hello and I'm saying goodbye. That I always hate when someone comes in to say hello as I'm like about to sign off. It feels terrible. There you go. Thanks, Margie. She says I just got my work posted. We definitely have to get in a habit, I think, of I feel like I used to do this back in the day when I had the Facebook group. I'm pretty sure that how it worked is we would do the Late Night Crafty Club. I had a Late Night Crafty Club Facebook group. I'm pretty sure I did. And then while I was doing the show, I'm pretty sure I would ask you guys to post your stuff. Doesn't that sound familiar? I'm pretty sure that's how it used to work. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, it's fun reminiscing about our little trick-or-treat adventures when we were kids. I love talking about that. The good old days. So I'm glad Ray says she started her Commonplace book tonight. And I agree, Denise. I hope that you guys have a good night and a good weekend. Currently, the schedule does not have another Late Night Crafty Club, but I will get that on there. If you are an all-access member of the membership, you do have your next gathering is scheduled, which should be right around the corner. It should be next weekend. And then I think the next weekend after that. So 2 weeks from now will be our next Late Night Crafty Club. It just needs to get scheduled. And then I will have to figure out the next LNCC after that, because it might come a little earlier because Thanksgiving is I think it's gonna mess with our schedule a little bit. So we might have 2 in a row, or we might have to wait an extra week to have the next one, something like that. It's, how it gets kind of tricky when we get to the holidays. So, But I hope that you guys all have a wonderful weekend. Also, I am going to be putting some fresh content into the clubhouse for November, because it's Happy November tomorrow when you wake up. So I'm going to put some new little fresh things in there just for fun. And I do plan on sending out a TRG newsletter. I do. I'm going to be working on that. So that is my goal, because I'm going to break through this. I'm going to break through this perfectionism if it kills me. So be sure to be on, make sure you're signed up. The trg.cafe, which doesn't sound like a URL, but it really is. I promise. Type in trg.cafe. It will take you to a little menu of little links. There's like little buttons is what they look like. So it's basically everything that I currently offer or have. So there's like the YouTube channel. There's both of my newsletters. There's the shop. So there's all the things. Join the membership. Everything you need to be involved with me, for us to be in a relationship together, is on trg.cafe. So I would love for you to do that. And don't forget, if you want to buy anything in the store that's within that whole fall treats section, most everything in the fall treats, with a few exceptions, are all 40% off. Okay? Use fall treats coupon code for that. There's also new that excludes the physical stickers, but we have new physical stickers in the store that just got relisted and all the good things. So I shall see you soon. I think about you often. I hope that you guys have a great weekend. I love your little faces, and I will see you very soon. You guys be good. Bye, everybody.
Gather round, it's Friday night. Time for crafts and pure delight. Paper, scissors, let's get started. With vintage tape, we'll be wholehearted. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layer in circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. Glue sticks ready, let's make a plan. Planners in the office, supplies in hand. Honey half-season, whimsy arrows, crafting magic like true heroes. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layer in circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. Do dads and gumballs, let's create a scene. Join the club where we live our dreams. So grab your scissors and come along. Together we'll craft and sing our song. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layer in circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. It's all for you. Slip into jammies, grab something to sip. Stickers and golden scissors, let's take a crafty trip. The playbook's open with listers, got a list. In this crafty paradise, our dreams coexist. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layer in circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. It's display our creativity. 32-pound paper, so smooth and buttery. Scraps your cards, help your ideas flow. What will you make during the late night crafty show? Hearts and pockets display our creativity. 32-pound paper, so smooth and buttery. Scraps your cards, help your ideas flow. What will you make during the late night crafty show? It's all for you.